is the Big O Show. This 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 is...
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura Integra for only $289 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
South Florida, listen carefully. Osmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Osmani Garcia delivers results. Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Walton Rayom can help.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Audio, video. Boogie with a suitcase. Don't leave it at the disco. Forget about the rat race. I don't know if we have it or not. No rapper can rap quite like I can. I'll take a muscle-bound man, put his face in the sand. Yep, that's it? Okay, all right. Okay. So I was going to just start rapping and stuff until we got back. You know, that's all. Anyway, welcome aboard. We're at Hialeah Park, of course, second floor poker room, having some fun. And by the way, you can come out here always play poker. You got the very loose slots downstairs. We all love loose slots. Don't we? Anyway, so you got it all out here at Hialeah Park. Everybody's having fun. They're celebrating the new Pope. What is it? Pope Leo the 9th. Oh, the 14th. The 14th. I'm sorry. The 14th. Pope Leo the 14th. So there you go. Is there a Pope? Has there ever been a Pope Orlando? I bet there hasn't. So that's good. So one day, I certainly am not, in no way, shape, or form ever be fit to be. But maybe there'll be a Pope Orlando. I won't be alive for it, but you just never know, bro. You just never know. No, there's no such thing. There's no way. No way. They don't even make keychains for my name. They don't make glasses and cups and all that. I used to go to Disney World all the time, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm in freaking Orlando, in Disney World. And they don't make even a cup that says Orlando. And I go, hey, lie to us, tell us it's the city, and I'll act like you made it for me. It's like, yeah, my wife's name is there. Barbara's in every one. She can get the keychain, she can get the cup, she can get the pencil. She can get everything with her name on it. I can't get anything. Nothing. Nowhere do they ever make Orlando. So I knew there wouldn't be a Pope. What happened? No audio again?
No, it's showing that we're going through things, but it sounds like we're going through the...
So it's better audio. Sounds a bit better.
Somebody put that thing and listen to it.
Oh, yeah, no, it sounds echoish. Yeah. It sounds very echo in the Bunny Man right now. Very echo. So spare us the cutter. Come on. Let's go. We'll try to fix the audio.
So you guys can try to understand this a bit, if we can. I don't know. Echo and... Yes, that's what I heard too when I turned up the audio unfortunately. By the way, Chris Perkins will join us at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk to the Perk Man. What are we doing? Are we sounding any better? Is it getting better? It says perfect, you got it. Brooklyn Rob says perfect, you got it. All right. Perfecto. That's it. All right, we're back. You figured it out, dog. You've done nothing? Yeah, but that's besides the point. You know, that's been going on for years. You've done nothing. I mean, I'm just talking about the audio issue right now. That's all. Don't judge yourself overall. We know that already. You've done nothing. Okay. All right. Well, everybody says it's perfecto, good to go, perfecto. You know, so it's a good to go. We're good. We're good. All right. Thank you for helping us in this really difficult situation. But welcome to Pope Leo the 14th. We got Pope Leo. We got a trade deal with the UK. We had a surplus. That one's going to be an easier deal to do. It'll be like the South Korea deal will be really easy. It'll be the other ones that'll be a little bit more difficult. But anyway, so good day today. Good day today. And, of course, Bitcoin is at $101,000. So it's a beautiful thing. We're back over 100,000. It's crushing. There we go, 100,202 right now. I think it's reached even 500 already, or 600, 101, 600, I think, or 500 already. So who knows? We might. The thing. Remember, we closed at 97 yesterday. So if by 8:00 tonight when we close the candle, if we could get to 107, it would be our first God candle. But, you know, it's already 3:00. I would expect it to, if we were going to get to, 107, I would have expected it to be at 103, 104 right now. So this is a good run. Don't get me wrong. It's a great run, but maybe not a God candle today. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see if we can maybe make a late rally here. But either way, those of you that have stuck with it and you bought the dip and you bought it when it hit 75 and 80 and 82 and 85 and 87, and look where you're at now. That alone, if you bought it at 80, you're making 20%. Bought it at 85, you're already up 15%. I mean, that's ridiculous. You know? So I'm just saying, good for you if you stuck through it and you followed the way it is done. That's how you end up making money. You don't panic, you don't sell, you let the others panic, and then that gives you an opportunity. And that's what this is all about. It's not about at what price you get it at this point. It's too cheap for that. It's how much you can acquire, because it's finite. And this thing's going to start running in the next few months at a pace that is going to be just unreachable for normal human beings. So it's already unreachable for a full Bitcoin for most of us. You know what I mean? So we've got to aim, like I say, like us working stiffs, we got to aim for 20-25% of a Bitcoin. That's what we got to aim for. And that'll be enough for working stiffs like us. You know, people that have money, God bless them. If they can get to a whole Bitcoin and more, and go for it, dude. What did I tell you the other day? What was the stat? It was less than a million people. 993,285 people only on Mother Earth own one Bitcoin. Under a million. And we have 8 billion people. There's over 8 billion people, and less than 1 million own one Bitcoin. So pretty damn impressive. Good shit. Bad shit was the Maple Leafs beating the Panthers yesterday 4-3 and taking a 2-0 lead in this best-of-7 series. Am I concerned? Not at all. Not at all. They haven't played well.
This year they've had their moments where they score a goal and then they give up one. Like there's some kind of a let up at that moment there. And then they've had the shorties too. They've been scored on a few times during power plays. Shorthanded. That they've given up a bunch of shorthanded goals this year. And so they do have a little bit of those lapses, as they say. Bob has not been sharp. Some of their top stars have not played well so far. So, things have to change now at home. And as I told Hateful Steve last night, when he goes to me, when should I panic? I go, until they lose a home game. So if they come back home and win the next two, we're fine. And then you got to start to win two of the next three. And obviously you're going to have to win in Toronto. Toronto's a hell of a team, dude. They're not easy. But you've lost both games not playing well by one goal. Bob only had 16 saves last night. There's no reason for him to let in 4 goals. He's got to be sharper. I'm not sitting here. I'm not going to panic. It's a hell of a team. It's tough. They know what they got to do. So we have to see the best of the Panthers on Friday night and hope that they get it done. And that's it. That's all. It's the way it goes, dude. And we'll just ride it out. But panic or be concerned or any of that, these guys have been there and done it. They know what they're supposed to do. And this isn't the Dolphins or the Miami Heat. Unproven teams and players that aren't real stars and don't bring any toughness whatsoever. We'll address that with Teron Armstead. So this isn't soft-ass Dolphins or the soft-ass Heat. Be interesting to see what Riley does tomorrow. Because, so this team has got toughness. They're not weak. They don't fold in big moments. If they lose, it's because they're going to be outplayed by Toronto. And because Toronto's damn good. But they're not going to fold, and they're not going to choke. They're going to play their asses off. And that's what I expect tomorrow. And I expect better defense. I expect better Bob. I expect stars to step it up. Okay? Everybody has got to step it up. Every big name on that team, they've got to bring it. And it'll be fun. Home ice will be fun tomorrow night. It'll be great for the building and the fans. It'll be an atmosphere that is second to none. So I'm looking forward to it. And that's a really good thing right now with what's going on with the Panthers. So it's a little drama. You're down 0-2. But if you lose one of the two here at home, then I panic. And I say, damn, you're down 3-1 now against that team. You don't want to go down 3-1 against a team like that. Can you come back? Of course you can. I've seen it in hockey, but it just becomes that much harder, especially if you lose one of the two. Then the first two become a little bit more disturbing. You know what I'm saying? So you got to break the trend now and win the next 2 games. That's it. By the way, you got the $100 no regret first bet right there. We're at Hialeah Park. You got the playoffs going on, NBA, NHL. You can make your bet. Use the QR code, by the way. If you've never opened the account, you open the account, and you get a $100 no regret first bet after you make that first bet. And the good thing is, by the way, if you have a Hard Rock account already, use a different email or cell number. Okay. That way it doesn't clash. I want you to get the $100. It's better to start off with $100. Know what I'm saying? So, good stuff. There you go. And of course, come on out to Hialeah Park, man. And they gave away $50,000 of Bitcoin. They're making money. On top of free Bitcoin, their Bitcoin just grew. And it's about to explode. We're going to the next stage now. Now we're going to the next stage where we pass 108, go to 115, 120, 125, something like that. That's what's coming now. By the way, did you guys see that New Hampshire was the first state that passed a Bitcoin reserve bill? Did you see that? 3 days ago. And then Arizona passed theirs yesterday. Okay, but now, you know, you listen to these crypto guys out there and all that stuff. This is why, you know, I'm a little different than most people. So you got the crypto. Oh, we have 2 states that have approved a crypto reserve. Well, sort of. Did you read? Did you find out? Did you see the information? So check this out. One crypto reserve, right, that was approved. It was approved, but they're not buying any Bitcoin. It's only if they confiscate any, or listen to this, they want to sign up for airdrops. So some companies, they throw out free coins and they have airdrops. I've never even gotten one of those because I never sign up for any of that shit. I don't want anybody to have my address or anything. I never do that shit. So anyway, so they want to sign up for airdrops and freebies. Okay? That's one state. The other state is actually going to invest 5% of revenue into Bitcoin. So, which one do you think will grow a lot faster? The one that's investing. Okay, now here's the best question. Again, please, I don't play politics. I just call it like I see it. Guess which one is the Republican and which is the Democrat one? What's that? New Hampshire. The New Hampshire governor is a Republican. Passed it. 5% is going in. They're smart. The Democrat in Arizona, Katie Hobbs, she vetoed the bill where she called it a risk asset. Like this dumb broad, it's 16 years alive, and it's survived Obama, Trump, and Biden printing, FTX collapse, wars, recessions, pandemic, European debt crisis. I mean, there's so many things that it has survived that has gone on in 16 years. And here it is, the strongest asset in the world. And this idiot, like untested, do you know that Bitcoin today passed Amazon in market cap? Bitcoin passed Amazon in market cap. Katie Hobbs is a fucking moron, but that's because she's from that party. And like 98% of the Democrats want to control you with CBDCs and protect the dollar, which of course they print it and they want to control you. They know they can't control you with Bitcoin. And I'm sorry, bro. And again, I rip both parties. But when one gets it right or the other one gets it right, I'm going to say it, and it is what it is. And, you know, you bleeding heart Dems, I'm sorry, bro. If you're a little butthurt, you can't handle it, I'm sorry. Trumpies can't handle it either, so it doesn't matter. Bleeding heart Dems and Trumpies are the same. They're so sensitive. But unfortunately, that's the way it is. Dems have been trying to go against crypto and Bitcoin, and there you go. Two Bitcoin crypto reserve bills have been passed. New Hampshire and Arizona. And only one is really investing in it. The other one is a joke of a reserve. So, you know, Arizona, if you live in Arizona, just want you to know Katie Hobbs screwed you. She's an idiot. She's a moron. But what are you going to do? There's a lot of people that are stupid when it comes to crypto and Bitcoin, and they don't understand what's really going on. They pay attention too much to meme coins and crap like that, you know, all the bad stuff that's gone on, like what goes on with money all the time. But they don't really pay attention to the stuff that's actually the structure and going to be the finance, the entire financial foundation for the world. So that's what's being built, and people don't understand that. And that's why this is unstoppable. And if you're still denying this, I gotta honestly say, it's pretty dumb. It's pretty damn dumb at this point. So it's just really a matter of being informed and educated on what's going on. And you'll be in a much better place. But man, today is fun. Watching Bitcoin climb back up to 101,000. And we're now headed, I think this is the one where we go to the next stage now. And then we'll go to the next stage. And then eventually we'll have, a correction and a capitulation. And then we'll continue to the next stage after that and so on and so forth. So it is what it is. So what are you going to do? What do we got here? Brian Ratke, I see you're number 1 on the chat board. Thank you, sir. Jamie Zorria out there in San Jose. I see Brooklyn Rob. Thank you all out there on the chat board. Don't forget, you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum or Chainlink or Solana donation, which we always appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Brooklyn Rob says, of course, there'll be a God candle. We elected a new pope. Good omen. I like that. It's coming. It's coming. There's no doubt it's coming. Let's see. Big O, do you hodl Bitcoin or do you take some profits? I take no profits, sir. You don't sell Bitcoin. You don't sell Bitcoin. Why would you sell Bitcoin? I bought it at 16,000. Why would I sell it? I bought it at 20. Why would I sell it? If it's going to 1 million, why would I sell it? If it grows faster than real estate, why would I sell it? If it grows faster than Wall Street and anything in the big 7, why would I sell it? You tell me that. How does that make any sense to sell it? You don't understand Bitcoin. Only a fool sells Bitcoin. Unless you need something, an emergency for your family or whatever. But if you are saving your money and it's discretionary income, you don't sell Bitcoin. You sell Ethereum, you sell Solana, you sell Avalanche. You don't marry yourself to altcoins. You divorce at one point with altcoins, every single one of them. Bitcoin, brother, you don't part with Bitcoin. If I'm telling you it's going to $1 million, why would you part with it? Unless you need it for an emergency, that's the only reason. You're buying a house, you got to pay off your house, you got to pay for your kids' college fund, you got a medical emergency, and you got to cash out, That's anything. That's your Amazon stock, that's your Tesla stock. Well, that's been going down. That's on fire as it is. Literally, by the way. And whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? You sell. Bitcoin, you don't sell. You don't sell. No asset in the last 5 years has gone from 16,000 to 101,000, 108. And we're going to go. So no, I do not sell my Bitcoin at all. The second I buy, it is stashed and hodled. It's not even a thought. Nothing. It's put away and it goes to my daughter. It's over, bro. I don't plan on touching that money. If I need money, I go find another job. I find another way to make money or whatever. But don't touch it. Why would I? Every time I put it in, all it does is grow, dude. I'm in the, 100 and some percentile, something stupid. I'm in such disgusting profits that why would I do that? Makes no sense. No sense whatsoever when it is the most finite asset in the world. That's the best way to put it. It's the most finite asset in the world. You mine the total of 2 or 3% of gold every year. So you're adding to gold. You're adding to silver. You might go to other planets now and you'll find more gold and more silver. Now, when they get to Mars and eventually starts, putting stations there and all that, and they start drilling for minerals and all kinds of stuff that we may need for, for our usage, they may find more gold there. So all the stuff that is considered valuable can be found more of. Well, there's only one right now that you can't find anymore. There's 21 million and that's it. Like I told you, it's not about where you buy it. That's where people drive me crazy. Oh, do you think I should buy it now? Don't, bro. You should buy it at all right now. Right now. You should have bought it last week. You should have bought it a month ago. You should have bought it 5 months ago. You should have bought it 5 years ago. That's how you should have just bought it and hold it. And don't panic. How about this? How about the dude that bought it at $67,000 4 years ago? And then it crashes to 16. What do you do there? You panic and you sell and you lose? No. You buy more and lower your average. And then it went back up over 67. And now it's going to double 67 very shortly. So you hang in there, okay? It's not what time you're in, it's how much time you spend in it is what's going to make you the money. If you panic because Trump sends out a tweet, because there's a war going on, because there's a pandemic, because there's whatever happens, if you panic and sell, that's where you lose. If you take advantage when it drops and you add even more, that's where you win. That's the trick. The trick is in the volatility. The trick is to buy the volatility. It's what people still don't understand because they don't understand investing and they don't understand Bitcoin and they don't understand what's going on. But just saying, it's super simple. Okay? It never survived Kamala Harris, Brett. That's absolutely inaccurate. She's a vice president. She never did anything. So, let's be accurate. If we're going to say it survived Biden, it survived Trump, and it survived Obama. Those are the three presidents that printed $24 trillion. Obama, $8 trillion in 8 years. Trump, $8 trillion in 4 years. And Biden, $8 trillion in 4 years. Harris didn't print anything, my brother. So, love you, man, but let's be accurate. Vice presidents don't do anything, okay? The only reason most of you bring up vice presidents because she's a minority and a woman. Outside of that, none of us ever pay attention to the vice president. It's very convenient that she all of a sudden became a target when we never pay attention to the vice president. And that's all just sexist bullshit that goes on, bro. That's all. Sorry, Brett. But that's all that goes on, dude. Nobody ever pays attention. Nobody cares about Bob Dole or nobody cared about Bush. Reagan, Bush. Nobody cared about George Bush, bro, until he was president. The only one. Nobody cares about Mondale. Nobody cared about Biden. Well, nobody cared about Biden when he was president, but nobody cared about Biden when he was under Obama. Nobody ever talks about vice presidents. The only time we brought it up, it's because it's a woman, dude. That's all. It's the only reason that she was brought up so much. And then she ran. It doesn't mean she was in charge of anything whatsoever. So, it's not. Let's just call things like we see it. And the Kamala stuff, I know where that all comes from, dude. That's I'm old enough, dude. I'm 60 years old almost. I got a year and a couple months left. I've been around a long time. I've seen all this stuff. Nobody ever cared about the vice president until it was a female. Like all of a sudden a vice president makes a difference when none of us ever given a shit about the vice president. All they're done is sent off for peace crap and stuff that they're forgotten for 4 years. But all of a sudden, no, she means something. She makes an impact. Come on, bro. That moron couldn't even run her campaign. She was overdrafted on a $1 billion campaign. I tell you, that is one dumbass right there, too. That's the problem, by the way. Democrats put Trump in office because your candidates suck so bad that they just say, we'll try the other side this time. So, thank yourselves. Let's see. I don't sell it personally. I know people that sell a portion of their holdings when it breaks out and then they buy more when it dips. That's just. So are you buying it cheaper than what you bought it at? No. So why would I sell? That doesn't see. Mathematically, that makes no sense. None whatsoever. I'm not selling my Bitcoin. I bought at 16 and at 18 and at 20 and 22 and 23 and 24 and 25 and 26 and 20 because I'm never going to get it at that price ever again. So every time it goes up, it is 4xing and 5xing and 6xing, and it just does not make any sense whatsoever. Oh, and by the way, I also didn't want to cash out during the last administration. Why, Sean? Taxes. So I held on and said, no, I'll wait till, see what happens down the line. And, well, they're going to be a little bit more tax friendly. So breaks for me on that one. But again, that makes with altcoins, Ian, that makes all the sense in the world. With Bitcoin, it makes 0 sense because there's no asset like that. No assets at 100,000. No asset moves at 3, 4, 5, 7,000 in a day. No asset in the world does that. And again, no asset is more finite. And that's all you need to know. So I'm not a financial advisor, but my suggestion, only a fool sells his Bitcoin. Only a fool parts with his Bitcoin. That's what I would say to anybody out there. Brett says, savvy investors have a separate slush fund for emergencies, so you never have to touch your long-term portfolio. Boom. That's it. 100% right. All right, let's go. Chris Perkins is ready to go, right? All right, let's do it. Bring him on. Let's talk a little Dolphins football. The great Chris Perkins. Perk, first of all, I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing good, Big O. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Can't complain.
Good deal, good deal.
Hey, man, not that anybody would care. Not that anybody would care if I did complain. But, Perk, I want you to know the other day I played for the folks the Steve Shapiro screw up with you on the air.
The great prick. Legendary, baby, legendary.
Yes. I had some fun with that, and I played that one because I have it in the vault. I have a lot of stuff in the vault. I have Alonzo Mourning, like he told everybody, all right, everybody turn off your, because Ira said something to him about, it was the guy from Boston, and it was like a rookie. And Ira asked him a question, something about like challenging him or something like that. Right. And Zoe, you covered Zoe.
Yeah.
So it was like, all right, everybody, just turn off the cameras right now. But I didn't turn off my Morantz. There's no way I was turning. I never used, I've never played it in public ever. I have it there, and Zoe just rips into Ira for like 45 seconds.
So, man, I don't think you were officially on the beat until Zoe ripped you.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, let's straighten this shit out first and foremost. Zoe's not a jerk.
No.
Zoe is an outstanding human being, fantastic. But when he was on game day, he had this focus. And you had to understand where he was. It was like, you know what? I don't go into locker rooms anymore in baseball. Do pitchers still don't talk the day before they throw? Is that still a thing?
The day of the game. The day of the game.
The day of the game. That's what it is.
They don't talk the day before, the day of, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a guy that was actually a jerk, Alex Fernandez, mixed up because he wouldn't talk to you until 2 days before his start. That's what it was. That's what it was. But anyway, but Zoe would be in a zone, and it was not that he was just grumpy at that moment.
Look, Big O, here's what I've always said about Zoe: the three most intense, competitive people I ever covered in order: Pat Riley, Alonzo Mourning, and Will Clark. I mean, those three, and Zoe, you've got to understand, Zoe was molded by John Thompson and Pat Riley. So and he was intense already, but once you go through being molded by those two, you're going to be super intense. And yeah, God bless Zoe, one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, Zoe definitely.
But if you were talking shit, he would call you out on it.
Yeah, definitely. He would ccall you out. And that's the thing about that was fun. So I have some of those moments in my vault. I just but the one that happened with you was in public and everybody saw it. So
yeah, that's good.
I could use that one still, so I could use it, but it was funny. All right, so a buddy of mine called me this morning, goes, why does Tyreek wait till now to have a wrist surgery? And I go, bro, it's screws. It's part of the healing process. They have to take it out at a certain stage. This is the stage where, okay. Well, will he heal in time? That's the legitimate question now. Healing and all that, that's the part we don't know, and we're kind of left in the dark, right, Perk?
Yeah, when Tyreek had his first wrist surgery in February, Mike McDaniel said that he would be ready for training camp. I don't remember if he said for the start of training camp or at some point in training camp. I'm guessing that time schedule is still the same, because all they did was remove screws that were placed in there in February. And look, you know how training camp is nowadays, Big O. The veterans don't do anything except joint practices. So Tyreek already, those guys already weren't going to do much during training camp. If he's ready by midway through training camp, that's most likely that's good enough.
What'd you think of the draft?
I didn't like it at all.
Really?
They had Big O. They had 3 picks in the first 98, and they needed volume. They turned that into 2 picks in the first 37, and they didn't get a cornerback. So that's what I don't like about it. They made it a 2-man draft because 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks, they aren't going to be impact players in year 1. Not from scrimmage, not usually. Now, maybe it happens, but
defensive tackles have a chance to be rotational players. That I've seen that happen at times. That what's the name of the kid that from LSU they drafted? Godchow. He became a rotational player right away. And by the way, so did Taylor, that they drafted in the 6th round that year. Those guys became rotational tackles, not standouts. You're counting on your first rounder to be that guy there. But, here's where I disagree with you. And I thought you would like it because my theme all for the last few months was that the draft has to be about the fat boys and stop being the disorderlies. Okay?
Yes. Right. I see what you did.
Okay.
I like that movie, and I like the Fat Boys.
Exactly. And you went and got me fat boys on the offensive and defensive lines. And you're like one of the few guys in the media that has been saying for years, bro, build the lineup, run the shit out of the ball. Everything else falls into place. Like I say all the time, run, dominate the run, punch people in the mouth, and especially with Tua, give him play action and stuff like that. Dude, he's going to kill you, bro. But if you have a line that's a sieve and he's got 2 seconds to throw and you don't have a running game and all that, you're treating him like you have Marino. And, bro, you don't have Marino back there. You have a different kind of quarterback. You can't Breeze and guys like that, they can't play like Marino. You have to give them a running game and an offensive line. And that's why I thought you would like the idea that at least they went out they got the right guard from Pittsburgh, who's a big, tough kid. Now they got Savania, another big, tough kid. Then they got the guy next to Sealer and Grant, another big, tough kid. And even in the 5th round, they got another big, tough kid. So I thought you would kind of be on board because, dude, they needed meat and they didn't have enough on both sides.
They did need beef, and they got beef. But there's a couple of things here, Big O. When you talk about the run game, you still have a 188-pound running back there. I know they got Alexander Madison. I know they got Ollie Gordon II. Ollie Gordon II is a 6th-round pick. I just don't know if he's going to get a fair shot behind the draftee Achane and the draftee Jalen Wright. So that's one thing. But we'll see. They did get some beef, but still, Achane is your primary guy. Here's the other thing, and a column that I've written that I'll probably publish tomorrow, maybe later, but with James Daniels and Jonah Savaiinaea and Forgive me, Jonah, I'm probably butchering your last name. When we had the conference call yesterday with Aaron Brewer and Zach Sealer also, Aaron Brewer was talking about he's glad that they got big guys up front in Daniels and Savannah, both 300-pounders. But Brewer said, you know how we are here. We're not stationary big guys. We're
But
mobile.
Savannah can move.
But
Here's
the thing, Big O. The Dolphins still want agility. They don't want road graders as offensive linemen, right? Rob Hunt was agile. And so that's what and what Brewer was saying is, I like that these guys are big, but they're not going to fit in here unless they can run, unless they can move. And so I think we might have more of the same, just in 300-pounders.
Well, I'm told Savannah can move, so he does fit this scheme because he can get to the second level, and I think James Daniels can move. Now, is Patrick Paul that kind of guy? No, but you're pretty much not going to do that much with your tackles. If anything, Austin Jackson will be the guy that you'll pull some stuff like that because he's super athletic. Overall. I think they want the guy that's in the tweener. Not that he's a road grader. Not that he's light on the shorts completely, but that he can do a little bit of both, where he does bring a little punch and a little athleticism at the same time.
Yeah, they want Rob Hunt, right? That's what they want. And I don't know. Bruce seemed to be saying the size is one thing, but we want the agility, or else it won't work. So I'm wondering if they just got big guys who. They're not bruisers. They're not maulers. They're big guys who are light on their feet and fit this outside zone scheme rather than the maulers that you want to push people back in short yardage or goal line situations. We'll see, but I thought it was very interesting the way Brew phrased it.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, what'd you think of the Tyreek comments?
Oh, goodness gracious. Tyreek, man. Tyreek is so freaking exhausting, Big O. I like Tyreek personally. He can be a lot of fun, but he's a lot more fun when he's gaining 1,700 yards receiving, right? Tyreek is just being Tyreek and leaving Tua out of his top 5. He shouldn't have had Tua in the top 5 last year. And he shouldn't have said 3 years ago, Tua is the most accurate quarterback in the league. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to pump up Tua over Patrick Mahomes and all that kind of stuff. Tyreek, as I wrote today, Tyreek lives a clickbait life, and we can't help clicking. And it's irritating to me that we have to react to every little thing that Tyreek does, but people do care. And I'm in a job where I have to get numbers and I have to respond to what people like. And so, sometimes it just irritates me that anytime Tyreek does something on social media, we've got to react. But I've got to give the people what they want, Big O. And so that's kind of what I think about Tyreek. It's more Tyreek being Tyreek. Tyreek wins again because he gets the publicity and the attention, and here we are talking about him. But look, he's the best player on your team. He's a future Hall of Famer. And, you have to deal with a lot of his stuff because of who he is and what he does for your team and your offense.
Yeah, but as I was saying yesterday on the show or the day before, the fact that you've got to depend on so many undependable people. Tyreek is undependable. Yep. Tua physically is undependable. Yep. And Mike McDaniel is undependable. He can't call a good game. He doesn't even know how to stick to the run. So whether it's Madison or Ali, you give him a bigger back. I don't even know he'll use him because you had Chris Brooks and then you didn't use him. And then the following year you see him running over you, in a game. And it's just like, okay, well, you had a guy like that. And it's just, okay, you had Jonnu Smith and he didn't use really Jonnu the way he should have in the first month. With all the numbers that Jonnu put up, it was after the fact. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's so much inconsistency on that team. That's why, for me, I don't even expect them to make the playoffs, to be quite honest, because this team's not as good as the one from 2 years ago, which was a really good team, and the team from last year. And because of your failures in those 2 years, now you've put yourself in a position where, bro, nobody sacrificed for you. Nobody really wanted to stay. The people you have, it's because they're trapped. You paid for them, and so they're stuck here, pretty much. But it's not a good situation. It's just not.
It's not a good situation. But I'll say this, Big O. I'm not going to lower the bar for Mike McDaniel. And I've been on Mike harder than anybody in this market, and because I think that they did a great job of accumulating talent. Mike and Chris Greer, they've deployed this talent incorrectly. The coaching, the offense has been it's been shut down against good teams for the last 2 years.
Terrible.
And I've given these numbers many times. In the last 2 years, the Dolphins are 11-0 when Tyreek has 100 or more yards. They're 7-16 when he has 99 or fewer. And in those 2 years, when Tyreek has 100, they average 35 a game. When he's got 99 or fewer, they average 18 a game. Beyond that, Tyreek does not have a 100-yard game against a playoff team in the last 2 years, a span when the Dolphins are 2-10 against playoff teams. It all revolves around Tyreek. They haven't developed a run game. They haven't
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Right. Exactly. They're so predictable, Big O. The good teams know all we have to do is stop Tyreek. For all of this pre-snap motion and speed and all that kind of stuff, all we have to do is stop Tyreek, and that offense is stuck. And that's what I blame Mike McDaniel for. I admire and respect him for coming in 2022, and you have this plan of speed, and you were going to outrun everybody. That's fine. It didn't necessarily work. In 2023, they doubled down on it. And yes, you went 11-6, but you 1-6 against playoff teams.
Right.
You got beat by an average score of 32-16 against playoff teams. You still didn't change in 2024. Instead, you gave out contract extensions. What are we doing here, Big O?
I don't even know. I don't even know how Mike McDaniel got a contract extension. That one was. I don't know how you guaranteed Tyreek any more money, which that was just absolutely stupid. And then giving Mike McDaniel, it reminded me of giving Philbin an extension after the Minnesota win. It was like, wow.
I remember that. Right.
What are you doing?
In the locker room.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, this is meaningless what you just did. What are you doing? Why are you extending this, man? And, and this would have opened the door for you. I got to tell you, the way they handled this offseason, is there any shot, Perk, that the Mike McDaniel hire is not as much a Chris Greer hire, but it was influenced by other people and he kind of went along with it? Is there any
chance? There's a chance of that, definitely. I don't think Chris Greer has that kind of final decision making.
So follow me on this, okay? Okay, first of all, let's go with his history. He comes from the Parcells-Belichick tree. His dad worked for Parcells and Belichick. In fact, influenced the Tom Brady pick. Okay. He worked for Belichick. The first time he gets his job and he gets the chance to hire somebody, he hires a Belichick disciple. His brother is a hockey player and a general manager. His dad is a hard ass too. It's a whole hard ass family type thing. McDaniel is not that kind of personality, not really what the Greer family and tree is even associated with. That's one. Then on the other side is I look at this offseason and I go, holy shit, you did a really smart move. Not for you this year, but for next year, you made a 4th rounder into a 3rd rounder. That's a super smart move. Very selfless on your part to do that. When you desperately needed to save your ass, you didn't go and start guaranteeing more money from the future. You didn't go take money from to a salary or somebody else to start paying for more free agents, right? You didn't sacrifice any of the future. You kind of stayed very, what's it called?
In the moment.
Conservative. Yeah. And so again, and you've got Weaver in place. And so I'm wondering if behind the scenes, the hierarchy has talked about, okay, this isn't good. This is not going good. The players, we got player revolting against Mike. I can tell you for a fact there are people in the building that don't believe in Mike whatsoever. Okay.
Yeah.
There are people in the building that are expecting to get fired. Okay. I'm just telling you that for a fact. But anyway, so I'm wondering, they're thinking, hey, let's prepare ourselves just in case. If it doesn't go well for Mike, we've given him enough rope here. We'll let him go, and we'll get Weaver in as an interim coach right away, and we can keep him and lock him in and get our future coach, because we're not going to be the sexiest of destinations. We're not going to get the pick of the litter anymore. So we got a guy that could be the pick of the litter. Let's keep him. So I almost feel like there's a behind-the-scenes plan in place for Weaver just in case it does go awry with Mike McDaniel. And there's a part of me that is wondering if Chris Grier was so selfless in those moments. Is he safe? Has there been something behind the scenes? Because Mike McDaniel has got to be going, what do you mean we're giving up that 4th round? We need that right now. Nah, we're going to save it for next year. Huh? You mean we're not going to guarantee anybody to buy more free agents? I need this year. So you got to, I just wonder, dude. You know, I'm a little cynical because it's 35 years of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, I can't see any scenario in which Grier and McDaniel are separated. Either they both stay or they both go.
I agree.
You know, I look at Grier as just kind of, he's kind of Instacart for Mike McDaniel, right? Mike McDaniel punches up the groceries he wants, Chris Grier delivers them. I don't know that Chris Grier has any kind of a vision. If Chris Grier had a vision for the Dolphins, what do you think it would be? I mean, it's always been the coaches.
It would have been what we're seeing right now of make an investment on the interior of the offensive and defensive line and all those kind of things. That's what I think it is. You know,
I haven't seen that under Grier. I see the vision of Mike McDaniel. I see the vision of Brian Flores. I see the vision of Adam Gase. I don't see anything from Chris Grier. And as far as the replacement, I'll say this. You know, Weave has got to be viewed as a replacement, and to me, kind of the trouble spots, the spots that Mike McDaniel has to get past for a midseason firing. The first 4 or 5 games, right? If you have 4 losses in those first 4 or 5 games, 0-4, 1-4, I'm not sure you stick around. 0-3, you can make it. 1-3, you can still dig your way out. But and so 1-4, 0-4, I think are the thresholds for McDaniel. And as far as Weaver, Big O, you've got to look on your staff after you passed over guys like Lou Anarumo and Zach Taylor and Dan Campbell, Todd Bowles. You had Ben Johnson, but he wasn't ready to become a head coach. At the time.
Neither was Dan Campbell.
Neither was Dan Campbell, right? Dan had to go to New Orleans.
Yeah.
But you've had such good guys on your staff. You've got to look from within, not just for interim, if it comes to that, but for next head coach. I think McDaniel got this job because they wanted to swing from disciplinarian, hard-ass Brian Flores to somebody who's more of a player's coach, Mike McDaniel. They were on extremes on both ends. They need somebody more centrist, and I think we would be that guy. There's other people, plenty of others who would be that guy, but I do think that Flo and McDaniel are just polar opposites, and they swung the pendulum too far to both sides in both cases.
Yeah, it's just the way they handled this offseason was not an offseason of somebody trying to save their jobs. That's all. That just did not. Normally you're desperate. Normally you're trading the pick from next year. You're going into money. You're leaving a mess. Like, Shula left a mess for Jimmy Johnson, and it's happened like that in the past for all kinds of different teams. That you go in, Reggie McKenzie, when he took over in Oakland, he didn't have a first-round pick his first year and a second-round pick his second year, and still he went on to build a playoff team and found one of the best defensive players and a quarterback and all that kind of stuff. So he was able to still overcome all that kind of stuff. It's not easy to do all of that. Now, this is one thing that you touched on that I think the Dolphins need to go on, because you said, what's their identity? Well, I started thinking about that, and I talked about it on the show. The Pittsburgh Steelers have gone through multiple coaches, and they have the same identity.
Mm-hmm.
So the Baltimore Ravens have the same identity. The Green Bay Packers for 3 decades have done the one thing with quarterbacks that you and I used to see when we were growing up, yet nobody else in the NFL does it. And from Mike Holmgren till now, it's always a West Coast style type of offense that you're playing off of. And I think the teams that you see that are having long-term success, they have a way they want to play. And then when they go find a coach, they don't go playing this new style of the coach. No. They find coaches that fit the way they want to do their thing. And that's what they do in Baltimore. That's what they do in Pittsburgh. That's what they do in Green Bay. That's what they're doing now in Kansas City. You know,
San Francisco, Philly.
Yeah, you got Philly. Dude, Philly, that son of a bitch. Okay, Howie Roseman has made the fucking quarterback and GM interchangeable. Okay? Listen to that shit.
100%.
Listen to that shit. That guy made the GM, I'm sorry, the head coach and the quarterback interchangeable. Nick Foles did nothing, and the other coach got fired in his next stop. And if you put Sirianni somewhere else, he'll get fired. And if you put Jalen Hurts somewhere else, he won't win one game in the playoffs, dude. Okay?
100%, Big O.
So you got it. So the Dolphins have got, Shula had it for the 70s.
Yeah.
It was the way they play. And then he started to change with the way of, we'll go Woodstock, then we'll go Marino, and then we'll start changing. And so you can't do that. You gotta find who you are and say, this is who we're going to be. And then whoever's the coach, hey, coach, this is who we're going to be. Do you want to coach like this? Yes. No? Get out of here. This is not our guy. We got to get the guy that wants to be the way we want to be, like the Steelers are, like whatever you develop that you think you are. We're the Green Bay Packers, and this is how we're going to be. I think foundationally, that's the first step. And if you don't get to that first step, it's going to be a lot harder to ever develop anything.
100%, Big O. I've been preaching this for a while, but that's why I say the GM is the most important guy in the organization. He collects the talent. And you have to kind of go old school college football. You get a system and you recruit to the system. And so what I've said along those lines, look at who San Francisco has been to the Super Bowl with recently at quarterback, and not in the last 20 years, right? Colin Kaepernick, Jimmy G, who am I not?
Purdy. I mean, but he didn't get
Purdy,
there.
Purdy, right? And Purdy.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned Philly with Nick Foles and Jalen Hurts. None of those quarterbacks are going to the Hall of Fame, Big O. None of them. But you surround them. You give them a run game. You give them a defense. You give them good receivers, good O-line, good D-line. You build an entire team. And the quarterback is just as interchangeable as your left guard. Now, that's an exaggeration. But
Peyton Manning couldn't throw for 10 yards and won a championship.
Right.
Bob Greasy threw 6 times in a Super Bowl and won. Why? Because the Dolphins dominated on both sides of the line. They didn't have to. Shula goes, well, why am I going to put the ball in the air? I got 3 running backs. I'm not going to do that. I mean, let's go this way. Brandon Stokely can be your lead receiver, and you can win a Super Bowl in Baltimore. Why? Because the line and Jamal Lewis are going to dominate.
Correct. The 2015 Broncos, they had those quarterbacks, Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler, they combined for 19 touchdowns and 23 interceptions, Big O. 19 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. This was just 10 years ago, and they won a Super Bowl. So, yeah, you're right. And I've been preaching this, that the Dolphins need to get a system, and then you recruit to the system. You get your coach to that system, but you need a strong GM before you get that. You need a Ozzie Newsome, a Howie Roseman to get you going. And so that's
we get excited because the new coach comes with a new scheme, and then the new scheme, well, this guy doesn't fit, and then that guy doesn't fit, and then you're letting and to me, that's been their problem too, because They didn't nail the 2 head coaches, and then the first guy couldn't nail an offensive staff. So your constant changes on offensive staff will then affect what you're changing on offense constantly in talent. And then this coach has had 4 different defensive coordinators. So they're going to want different players because some players won't fit and some players will fit. And so then all of a sudden you're changing. That's why, to me, you're going to say, no, we're going to be a 4-3 team or a 3-4 team from here on out. This is who we are. We're not changing. And that way the talent never really has to be turned over when you turn over the coaches. You know, it's kind of the same. And that's what you want.
Yep, you need the strong GM for that, but you're exactly right. That's what the Dolphins need is the plan from the top, and you stick to it. You've got to see some success because you're not going to stick to it if it's not working. But you need to start with a strong GM. He gets his plan in place, and this is how we're going to roll.
Right, but they've never done that.
Nope.
They've tried everything else. They've changed it, all kinds of coaches. They got the up-and-coming coordinator. They got the Hall of Fame coach. They got the great college coach. They've done it every way possible. Up-and-coming defense, offensive coordinators, they have failed every way. But again, they need to get back to saying, this is our identity, and from here on out, this is how we will be built. And then we can go on. I liked what they did this offseason. Now, is it going to save them? No, because I don't think Mike McDaniel's that good of a coach. So, you know.
Yeah, hey, Big O, let me say this, though. You know, and I wrote this earlier. This offense has no excuses, Big O. None. You return 8 offensive starters, right? And we can name them: Tua and Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith, Devon Achane, Aaron Brewer, Alec Ingold, and Austin Jackson. That's 8. You signed James Daniels. That's 9. You got Jonah. That's 10. You got and then you've got your Malik. I guess Malik Washington will probably be your slot receiver.
Yeah.
You've got the offense. Plus, you brought in Bobby Slowett, right? You got yourself a big receiver in Nick Westbrook-Akine. You got yourself a power runner in Alexander Madison. You got yourself a draftee in Ollie Gordon II. You got yourself a backup offensive lineman in Larry Borum, who I'm not that thrilled about. You got yourself another in-line.
I think we don't talk about Keon enough. I think Keon's the one that's coming along.
Keon will be good. You got yourself a shiny new coach in Bobby Slowik. You've got everything offensively, Big O. This offense, here's what I've said. There's no reason this offense shouldn't average at least 25 points per game. Flores averaged 25.3 in 2020 with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua. Joe Philbin in 2014 averaged 24.3 with Ryan Tannehill. Are you telling me this offense can't be better than those? This offense should average at least 25 points per game, Big O.
I'm not arguing.
You're pretty loaded. I mean, not loaded, but you've got your starters in place, and you've got some key backups in place. You got a new assistant coach in Bobby Slowik, the former Houston offensive coordinator. The defense needs help, but this offense ought to be able to carry this team to, 7, 8 wins, and then we'll see what the defense can chime in.
Yeah, the weakness is the coach. To me, that's the weakness. Will he have his offense prepared? Will they not have pre-snap penalties? Can he win challenges? Can he stick to the running game?
Yeah.
Can he actually? And also, as much as I like Tua the passer, Tua the football player, or he thinks he's a football player, pisses me off. He thinks he can run around and take contact, and that's the part that drives me crazy about him, because if he actually would take care of himself like he did 2 years ago, that's how he has to play. Whether he likes it or not, that's who he needs to be in order to succeed. But, in more years than not, all dating back to Alabama, he's going to do stupid shit to put his body at risk.
Yeah, and Chris Greer kind of called him out on it, saying that we need Tua to stay healthy, and we talked to Tua about it. We'll see if Tua can control himself. Tua's competitive, but that's admirable to the point where it hurts your team, right?
Marino was competitive.
Okay, but that's not right. That's not smart. That's not smart football. So you got to put that in your back pocket, and let's see if Tua can control himself enough to put that in their back pocket and do what's best for the team instead of the competitive spirit and all that. You've got to control that for the good of the team and your career. Got to.
Yeah, by the way, nobody's more competitive than Marino. But Marino, he would throw an interception. He threw a bunch of interceptions, by the way. So let's just, and when he threw the interception, he's F-bombing and he's licking his fingers and raising his pants and walking to the sideline and pointing at somebody that might have run the wrong route or pissed that he threw the interception. But he's not chasing the guy.
Yeah.
He's never even looking at the runner. He's just going off the field and just pissed that he screwed up at that point. Or, maybe there's open field. He might slide for 3 yards. But if you think he's going to put a shoulder into people, bro, Marino knows that I need to be on the field for my team. Like he knew to compartmentalize that moment and say, I can't let my emotions take the best of me. And, I can do this. I'm little Josh Allen. No, you're not, bro.
Right.
It's just
right. Exactly. Yeah. No, you got to be smart. You got to be smart because if Tua's not out there, here's the other thing, Big O. I don't have any faith in Mike McDaniel's ability to develop a backup quarterback. I don't know what Zach Wilson can be, but I just haven't seen Mike White develop, Skylar Thompson develop, Tim Boyle, Teddy Bridgewater, Snoop Huntley.
By the way, I think Tua does it all by himself. What Mike did for him was confidence, nothing else. He doesn't help Tua. He doesn't get plays in on time. He doesn't stick to the running game when it's working. He doesn't do things to assist his quarterback and make him better. He didn't use Jonnu Smith as much as he should have in the first month of the season, which makes your quarterback better. So he didn't get Jalen Wright more in the mix, which would probably take it a little easier on your lead back. There's a lot of things that he does. And so for me, the MILF monster, I don't believe in that guy at all. This is where I actually give Quinn Ewers a chance. I give him a chance to compete to be a back. I don't think Quinn Ewers has a shot at being an NFL starter, but I got to tell you, as bad as Zach Wilson is, I give Quinn Ewers a chance to compete to be a backup quarterback on this team, believe it or not. That's where I give Quinn Ewers a shot because I don't believe in Zach Wilson. And Quinn Ewers at least has been in like a pro-like system in Texas, has played well, has had big moments and all that kind of stuff. I've seen more from him overall, so I would have a little more hope for him to be your backup quarterback than the MILF monster.
Boy, I see zero chance of Quinn Ewers taking over because remember, Zach is the hand-picked guy. This is who Mike and Chris Greer said was hand-picked. We can develop him, and Mike was, or I can't remember.
Does that give you confidence that it was hand-picked by Mike? Okay.
No. But this is this is like we drafted Liam in the second round. Damn it, he's gonna play, right? I mean, we drafted Jalen Wright. We're gonna cut Chris Brooks. He's gonna play. You got to justify these goals. And when you say that we targeted Zach Wilson and if he gets beat out by a 7th round pick, yikes. And look, Big O, and as far as
that's their fault, and that's McDaniel's fault for thinking that Zach Wilson is actually something. Yes. So
well, they're thinking they can turn him in their system, but you remember the week before the Kansas City playoff game, I wrote, if Mike doesn't win this game, his seat for 2024 should be very, very warm because their list of accomplishments is very thin. Yeah. And I like Mike. I think that Mike is bright and he's creative and he does some really good things, but I also think that he's hard-headed. He doesn't change his offense enough, and he's going to stick to what he does, and I think that's to the detriment of the team. But I like him. I just wish that there was a strong GM to say, look, Mike, we're getting a power run game. I don't care what you say. What you did those first 2 years didn't work. We've got to do something different, and nobody in that building has a big enough voice to say that.
All right, what are you working on this Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I've got the thing with the offensive linemen that hopefully they're the bruisers and not the same old, which means the agility, quick outside zone scheme guys. We're getting the rookies tomorrow, and so we'll talk to them. I want to talk to a couple of the undrafted free agent rookie cornerbacks. I know B.J. Adams is one from UCF. I think there's a kid from Minnesota, I want to say. That's the other. But, you know, the Dolphins have had decent success with undrafted players, as we know, when you look at guys like Robert Jones, Cater Kohu, especially. So I think these guys have a chance. Look, I trust Chris Greer to find cornerbacks, whether it's through the draft with like Xavier Howard, undrafted guys, Cater Kohu, Trey, Jalen Ramsey, free agency, Byron Jones. He can find corners, but I don't like that they did not draft a corner, but I do think Greer can find them. So I'm going to talk to these two guys tomorrow, hopefully, and we'll see what's going on there at cornerback.
I think they're going to get a Rasul Butler.
Yeah, me too. They have to, right?
What's it called? Jair Alexander may get
Jair
released.
Alexander, Asante Samuel Jr., who's
I think they're going to sign one of those guys.
They
and
will.
then this reminds me a lot of the Josh Boyer year, where your secondary is not going to be that good. You're going to live off your front seven.
Correct.
So you're going to live off guys getting pressure on the quarterback and not leaving those guys out there hanging out to dry very long. And you do, if Phillips and Chubb come back and stay healthy along with Chop, you've got a really nice mix of pass rushers. And I really love the Grant kid next to Sealer. So you're also going to have pressure and people caving in the pocket. So I think there's a lot of potential for the front seven to actually be really, really effective and entertaining overall. It's just very Josh Boyer-ish this year. And maybe they should bring back Josh Boyer to hang out with Weaver because he kind of like did that at times. No, seriously, but it'll be the memory of Josh Boyer this year because the secondary, it's like, yeah, bro, we need to get after those quickly.
That's going to be rough. But look, hey, and for what it's worth, Big O, I think inside linebacker is a position of strength. I don't know what that's. Yeah, but I do think you have a chance to control games with your front seven if Chubb and Phillips develop. And look, Jordan Brooks is good, Terrell Dotson is good in pass coverage. So hopefully you're better against tight ends this year. I think the front seven has some potential. I just hate that they didn't get a cornerback. We'll see what happens there.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Better yet, subscribe and support him and all the other terrific writers there. Perk, have a terrific week. Thank you for taking some time. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Big O.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Chris Perkins getting it done. The Perk man. Love it. By the way, you know what I also love? Bitcoin's at 101,558.
Very good. I got something else you might love.
Oh, yeah? What do we got? We got some news?
You will find out the date and opponent for the Dolphins 2025 game in Madrid on Tuesday morning on the NFL Network.
Okay.
What they did was, I guess they're going to announce certain matchups on the CBS
okay.
Show,
so
Fox,
ours will be on NFL
Prime.
Network.
Yeah, there's different shows.
The ones the network that hosts the outside game is the one that's going to promote their game.
Their games, yep.
Okay.
And Prime Video will have their.
But usually the one that's on NFL Network is also on a CBS or Fox affiliate.
Well, most of the away games are on NFL Network. The 9 o'clock start games are usually all on
right.
the
But
NFL
they also
Network.
give the local wherever the local.
I'm sure, but
yeah,
they
because
simulcast the NFL
because not everybody has NFL Network, so they at least their local Fox or CBS affiliates will have it like we did, and one of ours that you could see it on the NFL Network, and then you can also see it on your local station. I think it was CBS that time, wasn't Fox. There you go. All right, what do we have here? Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Hateful Steve in the chiming in on Venmo. Thank you, sir. He says, not true. There was extreme hatred for Dick Cheney, and it's a great call. You are correct. But that's because they actually put him in charge of the war. That was like the first time they ever put like a VP. See, context is everything. Okay, normally nobody cares, but they actually gave the VP a real responsibility. So that was a terrible move. Yeah, I know. But what are you going to do? But that's why. And see, that's why the vice president needs to be just put aside and just forget about him. So context is everything. But normally in history, nobody cares because the vice does nothing. The only time somebody ever put the vice to do something was that one case. Outside of that, the VP does nothing, dude. They do useless crap around the world. Okay, they're just like PR. That's all it is, basically. But you're right. And then what else did you got? What else you got there? Back to the Panthers. The guys on TV kept saying Kachuk isn't right, still hurt or not playing well. He's not playing well. I don't know if he's hurt or not playing well. Toronto's playing really well. I mean, we also got to credit Toronto too. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's not just Kachuk. Several guys haven't played well, and they need to play better. So we'll see what happens. Again, I don't worry until they start losing a game and at home. If they don't lose their next two games, I'm fine. And then now they've got to definitely find a way to win in Toronto and finish off their game at home. So we'll see. They played mediocre in 2 games and lost by 2 goals. A goal in each game. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm not going to panic right now. Jonathan Jensen says Tua wasn't smart in 23 either. He just got lucky or he didn't get injured. Remember the Jets game? He went head first and lost a chunk of his arm. He didn't get injured because he didn't hold on to the ball, Jonathan. It's pretty simple, dude. He got rid of the football. He didn't hang on to the football. Okay? There's nothing of luck or anything like that. The guy barely took any hits that year, and that's why he survived. But if he's going to go on and hold on to the ball and go seek contact, which he didn't do that year, he didn't go try to tackle somebody. He didn't go take on tacklers. He never did any of that. And that's how he got injured. He got concussed because he took on a tackler. He didn't do that year. He took on DeMar Hamlin. He took on the ghost of death, and he paid the price. Somebody that's already been dead, you don't take that person on. That's like your final destination. Anyway, as in most sports, you excel, then you don't try to do too much by yourself. Howdy O, like that band t-shirt you have on, really good indie band. Yes, and by the way, they're coming to town. It is, I don't even know the band they're opening up for, dude. It's kind of weird. Adelita's Way is coming, and they're opening up for somebody else. I may not even stay for the headliner. Let me tell you where it's at here. Is this it here? No, that's not it. Where the hell is it? Trying to figure, where is it? Yeah, Citizen Soldier, which I don't even know anything about that band, and Adelita's Way, and they're coming to Revolution Live. As it gets closer, I'll call De Jesus, the singer, and I'll get him on. Okay? I have his number, and so hopefully we'll get him on. But I probably will go to that concert for Adelita's, and then I'll leave. I love Adelita's. I've seen them several times, and they're a cool band, man. And this is I love this shirt. It's this it's like this really comfortable cotton. It's an awesome, awesome shirt. Yes, sir.
An overview of Citizen Soldier. Easy
Okay.
for me to say. A rock band from Salt Lake City, Utah. They were formed in a psychiatric hospital in 2016.
That's crazy, man. Okay. I definitely will be leaving after Adelita's Way. Okay. Maybe I'll just go out. Since it's at Revolution Live, the bus will be parked outside. Maybe I can go hang out with the singer and bullshit a little bit. That's it. Maybe I'll do that because I did that with him and the Fort Myers concert when I went to see him and the Black Moods. We after the concert was done, we were hanging out with both bands, going back and forth on each of their tour buses. So it was a cool experience. It was like a small bar in Fort Myers. I forgot the name, and it was with Bill Preston, rest in peace. About, I don't know, man. I want to say 8 years ago. Had a blast. Had a good time. So we'll call him and we'll try to get him on, actually. But I'm an Adelita's fan, man. Big time. Let's see. What else do we have? Plus, aren't the Toronto Maple Leafs known as the original choke job franchise? Yes. I put out the tweet yesterday. Toronto's like that franchise that hasn't won in 50 years. Oh, the Dolphins. Exactly. I'm sorry. And but they're like the most beloved franchise in Canada. Obviously, they're number one. And yesterday, Max Domi scored. And for those of you, there's a lot of you out there that probably don't know anything about Neil Rogers. So Neil Rogers was a long time. He was 30-something years here in South Florida doing radio. And he was a talk show host, and funny as hell, general talk show host, but knew sports too very well. And he was a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan. Okay. And anybody if there's any of you out there that are real Neelys, that's what we're called. You remember that Max Domi's dad, Ty Domi, played for Toronto, but he wasn't like Max. He was a goon. Yeah, Max Domi was a goon. He wasn't a great hockey player. No, I'm sorry. Ty Domi was the goon. Max is his son that's playing now. I'm sorry. So Ty, and so Neil, Toronto was his favorite team, but Ty Domi would get the team in trouble at times or whatever, and put him in the box or whatever because he was a goon. So he would call him Ty Dummy. He never called him Domi. He called him Ty Dummy all the time. So in this series, every time I hear Max, I hear Dummy, not Domi. And all I hear is Neil Rogers and, Ty Dummy, Ty Dummy, Ty Dummy, Ty Dummy. Oh, too funny, man. Too funny. Love that. Miss Neil. Neil could never do a show nowadays. Ever. Let's get to our 3 graphic sports calendar. Alan Blanco and the great people there, custom printing and embroidery. If your business, your corporation needs it, please give them a ring. Great sponsors of ours. They support us. 786-618-1443. Maple Leafs beat the Panthers 4-3 yesterday. They take a 2-0 lead in this best-of-7 series. Game 3 will be Friday here at Amerant Bank Arena. 7 o'clock will be the face-off. The Knicks, with a hell of a comeback, down 20 points, came back to beat the Celtics again, 91-90. They take a 2-0 lead. It was 73-53 late in the third quarter with 14 minutes left in the game, and they make the monster comeback. Amazing shit. OKC beat Denver 149-106. That series is tied up at 1. Tonight, we got Warriors and T-Wolves, and that'll be at 8:30. By the way, Dolphins cut cornerback Ryan Cooper, defensive tackle Neil Farrell, offensive lineman Chase Hines, and long snapper Blake Ferguson. All right, there you go. And Tyreek Hill had his follow-up wrist surgery. Yes. Yes. I'm wondering when's the lawsuit coming for the cops? Figured that would be coming. Let's see. Got to give Big O credit for always staying loyal to Greer. True one of a kind in that department. What can I tell you? I'll be honest. I don't agree every time. I didn't agree with the Tyreek move. I didn't agree with Mike McDaniel. May not have been his move. I don't know. But yeah, what are you going to do? It is what it is. Ty Domi was an enforcer who could actually play some, while Max Domi is more. Max Domi can play and can fight. Yeah. Max is way better than Ty. He's a nice little player. Scored yesterday too. Bastard. The Wayne Experience says, Big O, maybe with better players on the O-line and McCochin can get back to the offense and get it back going. Have some faith. He still is a young coach. Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry. I've seen 3 years of it, bro. Why would it get any better? Did Philbin get any better? Did Gase get any better? Gase was young. Didn't get better. You know what I mean? Yeah, and he went to the Jets and got worse. Yeah. So we've had the young coach. It wasn't getting any better with Flo. Wasn't getting any better with Wanstead. Once you see it, you've seen it already. You know it. You know what it is. It doesn't get any better. It's just that's just not the way it works anymore. You got to prove that you're the guy. You got to be DeMeco Ryans. Sorry. It's just the way it goes. Oh, yeah, they got themselves a nice young coach. And then he got himself a quarterback, too. That's how it's got to be. It's got to happen that way. You got to have some success, man. You just can't go in there and then you don't win any playoff games or you don't get to the playoffs. You got to have something. And that's the problem with him. That's the problem with any coach. Once you see it for a while, why would it get any better? Yes, sir.
No, I'm saying also he went in there they had a line. Now they've destroyed that team. They traded Tunsil and all.
Oh, yeah,
that.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they destroyed it because they could rebuild it, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be interesting to see how.
Yeah, they're turning it over now.
That plays out.
Once you know down the line's coming that you're going to have to start paying people, and you got to pay receivers, and now you're going to, your quarterback's going to come up in another year. You got to prepare for that, dude. And so I get it. I get what they're doing. But that's where you've got to make the tough decisions at times. And then you've got to replace them. You know what I'm saying? So what are you going to do? Let me see. All right. What else do we have here? Pat Riley, what's he going to say tomorrow? I don't specifically think he can tell you what they're like to the T, give you all of the insides, but what's going to be his excuse? What's going to be his explanation? I know that he's going to take the brunt of the whole thing. I know Riley. That's the beauty of Riley. He'll come in and defuse the whole place by laying on the sword. And he'll some way find a way to say, hey, I haven't given these guys enough. I haven't done enough. Whatever, blame me because we can't get over the hump or whatever. I think he'll take some of the blame. I really do. Because it's psychologically, it's such a smart way of approaching press conferences. And there were moments in years past when things would go a little bad or something, and you knew that Riles was going to get a lot of heat, and he always diffused the situation by laying on the sword. It's genius. Because if you start making excuses and pointing fingers, that's sign of weakness. The sign of strength is, even if it's not your fault, which it is, in this case, it is his fault. But even if it's not, receiver ran the wrong route. Hey, man, there was miscommunication, my fault there, whatever, and you cover for the receiver. You don't want to throw him under the bus because you're the quarterback. So you're like, hey, man, whatever. And then the public thinks, oh, man, quarterback made a bad decision, this, that. And that's because he's just being a leader at that moment. That happens all the time. So I expect some of that. Will there be any honesty there? Because honestly, you need to rebuild. I am now at the point that I wasn't before. Can you find out for me what year this is coming up for Bam? Yeah. I've told you before, I would not trade Bam Adebayo at all. I would keep him. I would trade Tyler Hero, but now you probably lost some value. But I'd trade Tyler and Bam now. I try to get as many picks as I can for those two guys, and I'd rebuild it with the young guys. Do you know why? You're not going to be any good next year. You're not going to be any good in 2 years from now. You don't have a superstar. You're not going anywhere. So Bam is what? And is, So 8 years? So, yeah. So this was his 8th year, so it'll be 9th? Oh, this will be his 8th. So he's at the peak of his career right now in his 8th year, going to his 9th. Do you think he's going to be the same player when he's in year 13 or 14? No. So why are you going to wait? You're not going to be that good for the next 2 or 3 years. You don't have a star. You don't have picks. You have a pick this year, and then you don't have a pick next year. And you have a pick next year, and you don't have a pick the following year. Off and on, off and on. So you're not going anywhere. You have no stars. So you're better off trading your guys and trying to get whatever picks you can. And then you can use those group of picks to trade for a star. Or maybe you get lucky, and some of those picks end up in the lottery, and you get a nice player. But by the time you're going to be good again, Bam is old. And then guess what? Can you trade him then and get what you can get now? No. So if you're really being truthful with yourself, it is time to part ways with those guys. They clearly show you they're not the guys to get you over the top, but some other people can use them as complementary players. Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to bring this up because he just signed an extension. He'll be making 51-2 next year.
Bam?
51-2, 2026-27.
Right.
55-3, 27-28. 59-4,
yeah,
28-29.
Right. Get rid of him, bro. Get rid of him. Bam's a terrific young man. He's a terrific player, but he's not a star. He's not a leader in the NBA where you can impose your will offensively. If you cannot impose your will offensively in the NBA, you're not a star. You're just not a star. That means you're not good. You're a good player. You can be an all-star, but you can't be a superstar. You can't be a franchise player. Those are the people that you can't stop. You have to foul them. You have to double them. That's not who Bam is. Nobody's afraid of Bam's offense. So if you're the Miami Heat, now, see, the problem is Riley's not going to sit there tomorrow and say, well, we're blowing it up. We're trading Tyler. He's not going to say that. Yeah, everybody's on the market and all that. He's not going to say that. But that's what he should do. So we'll see if he at least gives an inkling that, this thing needs to be really retooled and reset or whatever. And if he at least phrases it that way, that tells me you're thinking of that because the rest of your guys are young. They're not tradable. And you don't want to trade Ware, and you don't want to trade Jovic, and you don't want to trade Pallel Larson. They're really young and cheap, and they may have a future. But you've seen what Bam and Tyler are, and those aren't superstars. Those aren't franchise players. So get rid of them. And plus, a year from now, Tyler's going to want more money? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I would laugh in his face like, get out of here, bro. Get out of here. There's no chance I'm giving you more money. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. What else do we have here on the chat board? Juan agrees that Bam's got to go. James says, what does it matter if Bam is old if you're already good in the future? The idea is you can't get off the gravy train in the future. Now you can get something for him and you're not going anywhere. This is the same thing that we talked about with X. After the 10 interceptions, trade him. This is the same thing we talked about with Tyler. He stayed healthy, trade him down the deadline. They hung on to him because they have their little fantasy of making the playoffs like they were going to be impactful or some crap. With or without Butler, give me a break already. How many more breaks do you people want in 5 years? Bubble and injuries. Come on, dude. You're nowhere near these playoff teams. Time to move on. Time to move on big time from those guys. They are not the answer. That's all. Nice guys, but they're not the answer. Yes, sir.
Donald Trump's making plans to create a presidential commission to study college sports. And he's looking to name Nick Saban.
He's the one that started it because of the NIL stuff.
NIL stuff, yep. So it looks like
yeah.
Picking up some.
I don't know how they control
Wasn't
that.
Trump saying he's going to say something on Thursday? Did he already make
I mean,
was this was there other announcements?
No. I
don't follow close enough to know.
It was this today. It was the UK
thing was
trade.
The big announcement.
That was the big announcement.
Okay, right.
The UK trade.
Because I was like, wait, this wasn't the announcement.
No. So, but it was the UK trade, which is good because it wasn't a hard deal because we had a surplus with them. So they needed to make the deals more than anything else. It's not like with China, we have a deficit. But the best part about that deal is that it frees up the entire market. So there's probably a whole bunch of goods that people make here in this country that they could not sell in the UK because they were blocked or whatever. And they lifted those restrictions. So I'm not smart enough to know, but business owners around this country probably now have an open avenue there in the UK for something. I don't know what it is, dude. But the fact that he's getting all the trade barriers dropped, that's very important, dude. That's important. So that's good. And he should get the South Korea one done really easy because we've been at 0% with them on like 99% of the goods. So that's not going to be an issue. He should get the South Korea. You should hear about the South Korea done soon because that one shouldn't be a problem. That one didn't even really need to be torn up. But I think he's going to want to nail him for 10% because that's what I think he's doing. But he's going to leave like a 10% no matter what. Because if you want to be selling here, he's going to, whatever. It is what it is. He's got to create profits out of that. So that's what he's going to do. Let's bring the man, the myth, the legend aboard. Remember, you can get your $100 no regret first bet here at Hialeah Park. Use the QR code that Sean Stanley will show you in a minute. You open up your account, make your bet, and you get your $100 no regret first bet. The great Steve Calabro joining us here in the house.
Big O, Sean. I got to tell you, the sports betting thing is. I just introduced it to a half a dozen friends up in the northern part of the state.
Uh-huh.
They're loving it. It's a bunch of golfers, So
Right.
so now they're trying to prove to each other that they got all the knowledge.
Nice.
I told them just wait till football season when the Jersey guy is back in action. Jersey guy's been laying low.
You could have bet for the Pope.
Well, he could have bet for the Pope. Yeah, he could have bet for the Pope. He could have bet for.
We got an American Pope, dude. I was shocked.
I didn't hear the final.
Yeah, his name is Pope Leo XIV, Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, and he's the first U.S. Pope ever from Chicago.
Listen, long overdue. Come on, there's plenty of Catholics in the United States.
Yeah.
You're looking at one.
Yeah.
You're looking at one. As a matter of fact, I've made some wagers.
I'm a Catholic too, not necessarily
Catholic.
practice heavy, but I'm a Catholic.
I go to mass on Sunday.
Okay.
I've been reprimanded by my spouse for making wagers, on the sports betting app when it gets a little dry in the middle of the sermon there, Some guys are a little better, a little more interesting.
I go to church too, but it's usually for weddings.
Weddings, funerals. Yeah, those the
funerals too. Yeah,
the funerals. Although funeral masses, I will let you
I was at what? That was the last time I was at one for Billy from Big Cheese. Yeah.
Well, I will tell you something. Not that your viewers are going to care about this, but I went to Catholic grade school.
Oh,
okay. So
I went to summer school, catechism.
Yeah, so you're a catechism guy. I went 1 to 8 to St. Cecilia's grade school, right? Catholic
St.
school.
Michael's for me.
St. Cecilia's. That's now an Indian Buddhist church, I may add, but that's another story. In New Jersey, it's very diverse. I will tell you that. That's a true story. I'm not making this stuff up.
That's awesome.
Islam's all Indian. Like it's like, but great little city, great group of people.
Spicy
too.
food.
So now I get the story of so when I'm at the grade school, I became an altar boy. I'm at Catholic school, right? And there's two reasons why. My buddy told me, he's a year older than me. He said, "Listen, Steve, yeah, you got to serve mass, whatever. You got to do a mass on Sunday. There used to be a lot of masses on Sunday back then. But on Saturdays, you get to do weddings. And you work over the best man, you get like a $10 tip. This is like 1972, I graduated 8th grade in 72. This is like 1969, right? So Saturday you'd pull up, you come out of you got your tuxedo on and you're the best man. Hey, how you doing there, Orlando? We do all the weddings here. It's me and my buddy Sean. We're the altar boys. The last guy tipped us $10. You don't have to. There's no obligation. I'm no obligation. I said, but we'll take good care of you. So we'd make that. Now that was one source of income. Then the next one was way better. Like when you're listening to the kids a little older than you, they got knowledge. You get on a funeral team.
Damn.
You're on a funeral team. There was 2 teams. And the funerals are during a week. So you miss class, and Costello's funeral home will come in. Yeah, it's 5 of
Abbott?
us. No. He was like Abbott, but he wasn't Abbott. It's Costello's. And, you have to hold the thing, and they spray the stuff, and it's all the stuff, right? And there's 5 of us. And Costello always gave us 10 singles, $2 each, and you missed like 2 hours of class.
All right.
Which was great. You got
and
out of school.
$2 is a lot of money.
And
bro.
$2, I mean, remember, there was penny candy back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
$2, you were eating like a king after, bro.
And weddings were $10, $5. You did $5 each.
Rich.
Saturday, and
like you're rich.
There were like 2. I remember there was a handful of weddings. I did 2 in one Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy mackerel.
It wasn't even to a much smaller degree. When I used to just cruise around in bikes with my friends, and we'd pick up the bottles to return them for
like a nickel or whatever.
A nickel. So there were a couple that were 10 cents.
Yeah,
that like I think it was the green bottle of Jamaica Cola from Canada Dry. It was like 10 cents or something.
Big. That's a score.
And that was a score.
You get 2 of them, 2 or 3 of them. Yeah, that's a score.
bro. Because back in those days, a pan de gloria, which is this Cuban bread that has some sugar and some crap on it, and it's just a big old pile of sugar.
It's a donut.
It's a big Cuban ass donut, and it would cost like 5 cents. So
you ate 2 of them.
Yeah, dude. So you'd find enough bottles, you'd like go buy yourself a Coke for like 20 cents and a pan de gloria, and you're like living life, dude.
I'm talking 1969, 1970. Oh, by the way, 69 today.
Same here.
69.
Mid-70s.
The Mets win the World Series.
Yeah.
Joe Namath predicts to be the winner in 19-point underdog, right? And McDonald's had a commercial. I think it was around 69. Hamburger, fries, and a Coke, less than $1, and you get change back from your $1.
Yeah, probably 99
Get
cents.
change back from your $1.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Remember, I'm making $2 on the funeral team. I got lunch.
Yeah, it's probably
lunch 2 days.
75, 50 cents actually. Now that I think about it, for all those 3 items.
No, I was about 90 cents.
Really?
Yeah, it was about 90 cents.
Right.
You got about a dime back, but now it's like $9. You know what I mean? Like it's like
it's awesome.
But anyhow,
those days were great.
So I am the Catholic, an ex-altar boy, and yes, I have unfortunately been reprimanded, rightfully so, by my beautiful spouse, who says, "Would you put that sports app away? You're in church now. You can't do that."
I remember the nuns, man.
Yeah, I got hit by one, 6th grade. Sister Irene Francis.
She got me like this. This is what she would do in St. Michael's. She'd put your fingers like that, and then she'd grab her hand and she'd wrap it up like that
and squeeze,
and then she'd grab a ruler. Wow!
Stop the blood and then back whack it.
I mean, your tips of your fingers were on fire, bro. Fire.
Listen, I've been traumatized.
What a bitch.
So Sister Irene Francis, 6th grade.
I don't care if she's a sister.
Listen,
what a
it's
bitch.
6th grade. There's a new kid in the school, Billy Pavlak. I'm talking to him, introducing him to 6th grade, and St. Cecilia's here. And, I'm just being hospitable. I'm in the hospitality business, by the way, but I guess I started in 6th grade. And she tells me, in defense of her, she says, you got to quiet down, Steve. Quiet down. I guess I didn't quiet down and quite as fast as I should have. And she comes from behind and like sneak attack, slaps me across the face. Imagine I come behind you. Whack.
They're ruthless,
Yeah,
bro.
Like from here, like this. Like,
Ruthless.
Like the shock was more.
These are women that don't get laid.
Yeah. Well, some of them did. My 8th grade teacher did, because she quit being a nun. Apparently.
Oh, okay. Well, she quit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, these are frustrated women walking around, So it's they take out their sexual frustrations on
6th graders.
on 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds, and like, what the hell, dude? Why you're like hunting me, bro?
At any rate, sports betting in Hialeah Park, gold bars right downstairs.
And by the way, how about the people that won Bitcoin?
Yeah, oh my God, they're already up.
They're way up
already
now.
up. They're already up.
They're already up, because I think when you
15%.
gave it up, I think it was in the high 80s to low 90s.
I think it was
right around there, right?
Yeah, maybe. Could have been as low as 85,
Yeah.
86.
Yeah.
Now it's 100 and whatever.
101 right now.
And Ethereum's like over 2,000 again.
It's up 19% today.
Jesus Christ.
Well, it was going to happen.
Oh, yeah, no tax on
it. Was just you saw Missouri?
Yeah.
Show me state.
Wow.
The show me state, Missouri. The bill has not completely passed. It passed the House. It's got to go through the Senate. And then if it goes through a Senate, they will Bitcoin in Missouri. There'll be no what's it called? Capital gains taxes. Which I know that's what Trump and all them are going to try to eventually get to. No capital gains taxes on money. Because that's what Bitcoin is considered, money.
Yeah.
So that's where we'll see if that happens.
Now, also,
but it all depends, dude. The Democrats are look. There's only I already explained it to them, but maybe you don't know about this. 2 Bitcoin reserve bills have been passed by 2 states. Did you see that?
I heard about it.
New Hampshire and Arizona. Okay, but there's a difference.
What?
Okay. Well, 1 Bitcoin reserve is not buying any Bitcoin. They're only going to add to the reserve if they happen to confiscate from some criminal or something.
Yeah.
Or airdrops. They don't have Bitcoin airdrops, but other cryptos sometimes have airdrops where they send free stuff out to people.
They're just going to accumulate.
And then they'll probably sell it and convert it, all right? And then the other state, okay, is actually investing 5% of their state income into Bitcoin, which is what you're supposed to do. Guess which one is the Republican state, led by a governor that's Republican, and guess which one is the Democrat state?
So I would think the northern one's the Democratic state.
Yes.
And they're going to do the 5%.
New Hampshire.
Beautiful.
And Arizona, Katie Hobbs.
Yeah.
She vetoed the bill for them to invest money in it.
Well, but
and she only agreed to this bill because it's only done like this. That you know what she said? She goes, well, it's an unproven asset. 16 years. It has survived Obama, Trump, and Biden printing $24 trillion.
And grown.
Wars, pandemic, U.S. recession, inflation, European debt crisis.
The whole Euro crash.
Yeah, oil crash that we had. All this stuff has happened in the last 16 years.
Yeah, but she's a bubblehead. She's a complete bubblehead.
Well,
she is complete.
No, it's not that.
She is.
Well, she is, but I think some of it is stupidity. But in that party, some of it is really evil. They know it's real. They know it's right, but they want CBDCs to control the U.S. dollar, and they want to control people like they're going to do in Europe, like the European nation. The woman, I forgot her name, the white-haired woman that is like the leader of the European whatever. She's like, no, we will not accept Bitcoin. Of course, because you're putting in the CBDCs, bitch, so you can control your people because you just keep printing out 10% of the money and devaluing the money, and you can control people that way. But Bitcoin, you can't control. So, and one party's come to the realization like, yo, dude, it is what it is. Let's use it, and let's use it to our benefit and not try to, be, excommunicado, and all of a sudden, and everybody else in the world is going to get ahead of us in this kind of technology.
But I think Trump will do something.
Oh, no, he's on board.
He'll do.
No, they got him on board. No, his son's got him on board.
But the problem is there's so much other crap that he's got to get through right now.
Well,
Which is, hey, look, the market was amazing. I mean, the market's this has been a crazy 8 weeks.
Well, and really, it's been a beautiful opportunity for those of us that actually get it. The people that panicked and sold, you're an idiot.
Oh, those are
the people that just did not get it. They're not real investors. What actually they gave you was a opportunity of a lifetime to go buy assets that are going to run way faster.
They were on sale.
Than the dollar.
They were on sale,
and you can get more mileage out of your money by doing that.
And it wasn't limited in the last 8 weeks, and it wasn't limited to Bitcoin and crypto.
No, stocks, everything.
I mean, there were stocks that were like beaten up, and I remember I didn't have a lot of cash. My wife did fairly well. She's got a little more time, and she's very astute to it. She bought 2 or 3 things, and she bought them at like a 20% discount.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, they're already back. It's in 4 to 6 weeks, they're already back and way ahead. And you think about it. You buy something 6 weeks ago, and you're up 20%, 25%.
Eventually, and they still haven't.
Crazy.
And they still haven't started printing. China's now printing. UK's printing. Japan's printing. We just printed $20 billion. The Fed's actually printed $20 billion this week, but we haven't really started printing yet. And we're going to raise the debt ceiling. So all that is coming, which will then juice the stock market and crypto even more.
There's still a few sales out there.
Yeah, and there's still what's that called? What's the word I'm looking for? There's still moments that are going to trigger the market to explode. Still,
think about this. Just take Ethereum as a concept. You buy it for $2,000 now. Okay, yeah, you could have bought it for $1,500 2 weeks ago, but you buy it for $2,000 when it's at $3,000.
Right.
You would, and I told you, hey, buy it at $2,000.
Right.
That's a really good return. It's going to be less than a year, at least in my opinion.
Oh, easy.
I'm not an advisor, but I mean,
easy.
There's still some stuff that is still value priced.
Yeah.
Now the problem is, you got to pick and choose. And I did buy. It's a weird stock, but I and everybody, my best friend Tony says, nah, it's a crazy stock. But I bought Palantir. I was all over Palantir.
Okay.
And I bought it late. My wife, she's much smarter than me. She buys it at 40. I buy it at 72, 71, but it's 110. I think it's 100. I went up 10 points.
I've gone crazy loading up on an AI company.
Well, Palantir is supposedly it is one of those the AI company that helps companies and the government deploy AI.
Right.
It's a little weird.
No,
they got big government.
Yeah, they're already established.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Well, this one is not.
This
one's not established yet, and they're building robots and they're building NFTs and different things.
Share it. You don't want to share.
That they'll become dealers. I've said it here. Well, I've said it a bunch. I've talked about it for years now. Alethea Liquid Intelligence Token.
Alethea
Liquid Intelligence Token. And you can buy it on crypto.com, and you can buy it also on Tangem, where you would buy Ethereum and then swap it for
you pay for it with the Ethereum.
Yeah, or Solana or whatever, and you can swap it for Alethea. And it has gone down to close to half a penny. Okay. It was at 9 cents. I already made a killing for it. I got it at 88,000th of a penny 4 years ago. It went up to 9 cents. I cashed out. It crashed. Now I've got it even cheaper than 88,000th of a penny. I've got it down to about 60,000th of a penny, half a penny, in other words. And I know it's going to go way farther. And here, let me, just to tell you, the Winklevoss twins, who own Gemini, the platform, the crypto platform,
for Google.
By the way, they donated $1 million of Bitcoin to Trump, the Winklevoss twins.
I didn't. Well, a lot of people on both sides have.
Yeah, but
ponied
Bitcoin.
Up.
They
Well,
okay. These guys,
they're on their separate side.
Well,
they're on the crypto
Winklevoss
side.
twins had Bitcoin when it was like $10, and they were telling everybody get on Bitcoin. Okay, these guys are geniuses. Mark Cuban is part of this company. Binance is the biggest crypto market in the world. Binance.com. It's in practically every country, and it's the biggest crypto exchange in the world. They've got hundreds of billions of dollars, okay? So they're behind this AI company. Mark Cuban's behind this AI company. The Winklevoss twins are behind this company. I don't know, dude.
Maybe somebody,
I don't
couple
know.
of smart people thinking about things.
I'm just going to follow smart.
I'll go with the Winkle twins.
I'm just going to follow. And by the way, the acronym is Ali, like in Ali, ALI, just in case, if you are interested. And again, oh, by the way, we are at 102,384. I am not a financial advisor. So what I told you to buy crypto, it's, Bitcoin at 16,000, at 20,000, at 26, I don't know shit. Okay. And when I told you to buy Ethereum when it was at 900, I don't know shit. Okay. So remember that. I don't know anything, but I'm just telling you, I like Alethea Liquid Intelligence Token. And if you can invest in something that's at 0.5 cent, and it already hit 9 when it wasn't even ready to go.
What made it drop?
Huh?
What made it?
The entire market has dropped.
Oh, yeah.
We had crashed. We had everything. Everything crashed.
Yeah.
So altcoins, Bitcoin took a hit, but altcoins, as you know, with Ethereum, they all altcoins took an even bigger hit. And so Alethea went down to places it had never been. And I'm like, again, what did we just talk about? Do you panic when it goes down? No.
Then you solidify your loss.
I already made a 10x deal on this one time. Now I went back down, and now
You might make more than a 10x deal.
No, I am going to make more than a 10x deal because there's no way that the 3 entities that I talked about, they're not investing hundreds of thousands of dollars in this, millions, to fail, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, and by the
That's a
way,
good one.
just an example.
I think he's been holding off. He's been holding back on me. He didn't tell me about this. He didn't tell me this one.
You don't watch the show.
No,
if you watch the show, you would get it.
I don't watch every minute, but I missed it.
But you just started getting into it, and you're only doing one altcoin. I'm telling you to go really deep, and that you would not do that yet.
I'm an Ethereum
so
guy.
Mark Cuban's kind of smart, right? So I made a lot of money with Mark Cuban a couple years ago. There's another one called Injective Protocol, INJ. I gave it to everybody at $1.71. He knows. It went up to $50.
You didn't give it to me.
2,000 something %. Okay.
That's big.
Now it's back down to like 17, 18 bucks or 15 bucks. And you can actually stake it for 11%. Make it work for you double ways. Anyway, I still think it's going to go back up again, but it's a Mark Cuban company.
Yeah. He's had some successes.
So now I'm going to go to this other Mark Cuban company and I'm going to ride, I'm not smart. I just follow smart people.
That's a good thing. That's good advice.
You know what I mean? It's like these crypto people. Oh, we've got 2 Bitcoin reserves that have been passed. No, you haven't, dude. Stop lying to people because they don't really follow the facts. They don't really check the stories. Like one state is a farce. Arizona's not really doing it. It's just, by chance we got some. Okay, all right, yay.
Yeah, we have something to
These
do with it.
These people are putting 5% of their income
that's
in
the
there.
start. The other states might start to look at that. That's.
No, they're already looking at it. They're already doing it. It's just in the process of going through the motions of going through the House, the Senate, and being approved by the governor. You know what I'm saying? You have to go through all of that.
Yeah.
And again, if
legislative session, the whole process.
Missouri
timing.
that you just saw, they probably will approve a Bitcoin reserve because look what they're willing to do. Already half of the government is already willing to charge no taxes on capital gains, which is,
you would hope that at least half is on board.
Yeah. By the way, I think Bitcoin, just so you know, and then you think, I'm holding out on you. I think Bitcoin is going to be a store value like gold. I believe Caspa will be cash. Caspa is exactly like Bitcoin. There are no CEOs. There was no pre-mine. They gave out no coins to nobody. The only way you can get Caspa or Bitcoin is by buying it or mining it. You must earn it. You must use electricity in order to get it, or you must buy it. And Caspa also has a finite amount, but it's much more. Whereas Bitcoin is only 21 million. You know that I gave this stat out 3 days ago. There's 993,285 people in the world with one Bitcoin.
How many?
993,285 only that own one complete Bitcoin.
One.
At least one. I'm sure a lot of those
Yeah,
people own much
more.
more.
Than one. Yeah.
But you only have less than 1 million in 8 billion people in this world. And there's only 21 million. Whereas Caspa is 27 billion. So now it can cover the world and it can be used more as cash to buy anything, go buy a coffee, go buy lunch, go buy a shirt, go pay for your bills or whatever. And it's going to grow in value. It's going to grow in value. But I think that's going to be the digital silver to the digital gold that is Bitcoin.
So let me share something. It's not crypto, but it's technology. Okay.
Right.
So here at Hialeah Park, there's a few things that are happening that have already happened from a technology standpoint. It's not crypto, but it's tech. So down on the slot floor, we're one of the first. We're either the first or tied for one of the first, and nobody else does it. It's either one or two people. Somebody told me some other casino does it, but when a customer wins a jackpot, sometimes in some casinos it could take 15 minutes. It could take 10 minutes. It could take 20 minutes. We used to be very proud because we had it under 10 minutes. We were like 8 minutes, right? So we have completely revamped that with technology. We have kiosks. So what used to happen in the old days, you'd hit a jackpot for $2,000. We'd have to run over to you. We'd fill out a piece of paper, and then we'd run back to the cage. We'd wait for the cage. They'd count the money. They'd give us the money. We'd count the money. Then we run back. That took 10 minutes every bit. 10 minutes was a good smooth. Customers kind of got used to it. Now it's down to like 2 minutes.
Wow.
Watch this. So we have kiosks. These are for the employees. These kiosks are strategically throughout the slot floor. So they don't go to the cage. Remember, the cage is here on the north side of the casino. You might hit a jackpot on the south side.
Right.
Or on the west side. Or way on the east,
a little bit of
west
a walk.
side, east side, right? So now, if you go downstairs, I want you to check this out. Our employees don't have they used to have a little clipboard and a little piece of paper. Nah, we threw the paper away. Now they have a tablet. Okay. They bring the tablet up to you. How you doing, Mr. Let me call you Mr. Big O. How's that for? That's real. Mr. Big O, I was going to call you. There you go. Alcazade. Mr. Big O, you had congratulations on 2000. They type in a few things, literally, because most of it's autofill, because we have your ID on file. We hit a button, boom, it autofills. And then we hand you, just like in the restaurants, you see now, the modern restaurants, you sign with your thumb, right? We hit a button. Remember, there's all Wi-Fi in the casino. The money starts starts to count in the kiosk in about 30 seconds it takes me to walk over to the kiosk. The money's coming out. I take the money out of the kiosk and I bring it over to you. I count it right out in front of you.
I love it.
Like 2 minutes.
That's awesome. It's like an ATM.
Yeah, it's like an ATM for our employees to
Right.
pay you jackpots.
Right.
There's customers saying, how is it happening this fast? Like for the last 20 years, it was taking, remember when it takes 10 minutes, if you're sitting in front of a slot machine after you hit a jackpot and you wait, just go downstairs and do nothing and sit in front of a slot machine for 10 minutes. It doesn't feel like 10 minutes. It feels like 25 minutes. Right? It feels really long, right? Just do nothing. It just sit there like a little Mama Luke. Right? So it feels really weird, right? So now you don't wait 10 minutes.
I love that.
Because the first minute that I'm getting it, I'm with you.
Right.
I'm with you with the tablet. You're doing this, something. And I'll be right back. I walk maybe.
The only thing better is winning it.
Well, winning it. No, because here's what. In our business, I'm telling you what the worst thing we can do. I told our employees when we first opened this place, I remind them every day. The worst thing that we can do is pay a jackpot too long. Because you have just won $5,000 jackpot.
Right.
You're happy as all hell.
Right.
20 minutes later, you're pissed off at us because we haven't paid you yet.
Right, yeah.
We just turned an amazing positive into a negative.
Right,
so
right.
The worst thing
I never thought of that.
It's the worst curse that you can do on a slot floor. It's like literally this. The worst thing. So the tech, we're the leaders in technology in South Florida. Hard Rock doesn't have it. You know, that big place over there. They got lots of money, right? Yeah, they don't have the technology because we're concerned about our customers, our players. We don't want them to wait 10 minutes that feels like 20 minutes.
And by the way, no smoking inside the casino, which also makes it a nice, comfortable atmosphere for everybody. They do have places for you to smoke and the smoking hot slots.
And get
that
this.
They have outside and covered, too.
And we're the only one that really does this, too. So you mentioned no smoking in the casino, which is nice and comfortable, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of our slot machines are linked. Now, let's just give a hypothetical. Let's say Sean and you like to gamble together. Sean likes to smoke cigarettes. You don't, right? So you can come to us. Let's just say this, and this is likely. You both like the same slot machine. Most of our links that are in the smoking area have a group of slot machines that are linked to those smoking machines.
Okay.
So you can be playing the non-smoking
Machine
same link
and-
that he's paying smoking,
That's awesome.
right?
So you're still connected.
Why is that? Because when you're smaller like us,
Right.
it's about customer service. It's
Right.
about saying, hey, let's figure out what really,
That's
we can
cool.
use
I never thought of that, but wow, that's actually pretty cool. If
Yeah, the same link.
Yeah.
You're going for the $10,000 thing that's progressing. He's got the same 10,000, but he's outside smoking a cigarette.
right.
And then, you're inside not smoking a cigarette and everything's
Okay.
comfortable. So things like
Sean,
that.
why are you smoking cigarettes, bro?
Yeah,
What's wrong with
we
you?
talked to you about
Come on,
him trying to quit.
You gotta try to quit those. Those
really?
those
Yeah.
Newports.
What do you got? Your
Those
Newport?
Newports
Yeah.
will do you in,
Menthols,
bro.
the Menthols, yeah. But anyhow, so that's the kind of technology. Now, one more technology, and I'll leave with this. Tuesday, I'm going to the state, the FGCC,
Oh,
the
okay.
Florida Gaming Control Commission, and we're going to be talking about getting them, trying to convince the regulators of slots. It's not, it's not crypto, but to go cashless.
Oh yeah.
So
That's-
now you don't bring cash to the casino. You bring your cell phone.
you got a card, yeah.
And
like
no,
that's-
your cell phone. And in
Oh.
your cell phone, you'll have a wallet. And your wallet's connected to your bank.
That's good, man, because people can start learning how to use digital wallets because
It's basically a digital.
that's another
that's
reason it
exactly
scares
what
people
it
out of
is.
Bitcoin because they're like a digital wallet, and it's like, bro, this is where we're going.
That's what it is, a digital wallet. That's
We're going there.
We literally have the agreements like ready to be signed. We've already selected our vendor.
Smart.
We just have to. So that's one.
That's
of the
pretty
things-
cool.
When it comes to customer service, one of the things you got to embrace is you got to embrace technology. You have to. Whether it be you know how the tablets
Adapt or die, bro. Adapt or die.
Exactly. You know how the tablet thing. I want to show you on the floor in the next near
That's
future.
exactly what I've been telling people for almost 6 years now with Bitcoin. Adapt or die.
You
It's
gotta-
coming.
You
It's
know, look,
coming.
It's
Look
things
what they're doing
change.
to our dollar. It's
Embrace it.
and
Embrace it.
every country's having the same problem with their own dollar. They're destroying their dollar because they've overprinted it.
Everybody's
And
printing.
so everybody knows that there's not a real they're going to use ours as the foundational currency, but eventually that's now weakening to the point that options are now developing, and Bitcoin is one of them, and that's why.
So
keep telling people you got to adapt, bro.
So think about it. It's not just
Things
the great
change.
promos in poker, not just the great gold bars downstairs and the Bitcoin and the cards. All those promos are fantastic. We're leading. We're in the lead in terms of good promos, but also technology, which relates to customer service. Believe me, it's a big deal. It's a huge deal, and I think we got to put you down on the slot floor in the next couple of weeks.
All right.
And we'll have somebody come right over and do the.
Yeah, we
we'll have our-
always did it over at the bar.
At the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll hit the jackpot. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want us at the bar, we're
Smoking
gonna be at
now
the
and
bar.
He's gambling. I like that. He's changed his whole way.
Yeah, smoking and gambling. I mean, look at that. He's picking up every
Right,
habit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What the hell? You got the perfect trifecta. Anyhow, I got to run, guys.
You got it, baby. Good to see
All
you.
right, nice to see you. Be good.
The great
Be
Steve
good.
Calabro.
Take-
And wait a minute, what's the giveaway?
Giveaway is $50,000 of gold bars.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Got to
wait.
make sure.
Yeah,
I want to give
twice, 24th,
right,
31st.
Okay.
The last 2 Saturdays of May.
There
There's
go.
no place else. I mean, just forget everybody else for the last 2
And
weeks.
I think
of-
gold's
of
going
May.
to continue to go up.
Listen, gold's been like in the last year. It's been a little bit like trendy. It's super trendy, and it's but it looks cool.
It doesn't
too.
move like Bitcoin because nothing moves like Bitcoin.
Never has.
But
it's not volatile.
Over time, it has steadily moved. Put it this way, it moves in a much better direction than our dollar.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool if you have like 50,000 of gold bars.
Yeah,
I think it would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
The only guy that I know has that was Senator Menendez.
But that's my
a great Cuban senator from New Jersey, the Senate, the great Menendez. Well, and he
gold bar Menendez.
Yeah, sewed into his suits.
Yeah.
No one will ever find them.
Yes.
Let me win that. I'll show up the next Thursday.
I think
the only thing I'd be terrified if I owned that much gold. It's like they're coming for me. It's like
you know what?
Like with Bitcoin, it's digital. It's 12 words. You can't touch it. You can't see it. You can't get it. You can't grab it. If you don't know the 12 words, you ain't touching my Bitcoin at all. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to gold, they got to find it in your safe or whatever. And it's like, damn, dude.
I think I got my.
How do you carry it around?
I think I have this year's Halloween costume. I'm going to get a face of Menendez and then a suit jacket and just sew in lots of gold bars.
The best part is that guy thought he was going to get away with it and start running again for office, which was the best part about it. Is like,
he's the worst.
Christ,
he's the worst. That's this. I don't know. He's just a bad
politics,
senator.
Dude.
He's a bad dude. He made
plenty of them in politics, bro.
Yeah, but not that bad.
Oh no, there's some and even worse than him.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Anyhow, it's all good, guys.
You got it, baby.
Take care. Take care.
Steve Calabro, and again, two giveaways of gold, $50,000. So let's go. And every time you come down here and you play the slot machines, the very loose slots, you will get an entry. So come on out here and have some fun. Play a bunch of slots, get a bunch of entries, and your chance to win $50,000 of gold, baby. That is pretty cool. Brett says, Sean suggests you roll your own special SIGs. Pat in Nashville says, I know where I'll be trick-or-treating next year. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great day for the U.S. We have an American Pope. Yep. It's crazy that we got an American Pope. That was like, wow. I did not see that one coming. If I had to bet, I probably would have bet like somebody in Italy or some I would have picked somebody closer to that, Spain or something. I would have never picked an American. It's because I don't think they take us that serious, but I guess they do take our Cardinals that serious. Oh, he's been in Peru for a long time? Okay. All right. So he's initially from Chicago, but been practicing in other parts of the world. Okay. Well, they have to culture themselves too, and they have to go to different places and learn languages and all that kind of stuff and be able to communicate. So yeah, you can't be just know one language and not get around. And yeah, you're probably not going to be named Pope. That's probably true. That makes a lot of sense. Let's see. UF tariffs on Vatican City. That why not? I say we tariff the Vatican 500-600%. That's all. They got plenty of money. They can share it with us. Amanda Medeiros, thank you for the love in the super chat. Big O, do you think Avalanche can 8x from here? Yeah, I do. I think it can get to a couple $100. Yes, I do. Now, will it get here in the next year? Probably not. It'll probably take a couple years for it, but yeah, it could probably do that. Yeah, definitely. It's got so much going for it. Yeah, I can see Avalanche growing in a big time way. Right now, we're at $21.81. I can see us getting to $200. For sure. It'll easily go over 100. It should. By the way, it's up 12% today. Ethereum just crossed 20%, 20.5%. It's got a long ways to go, but it's nice to see that it's up. Polkadot's up 12%. Again, long ways to go. None of these really mean anything because they've gone so far down that they've got to, climb a long ways to get out of the hole that they've dug themselves in. But the good thing is that Bitcoin is over 102,323 right now, which is pretty damn good, bro. Pretty damn good. What else do we have to talk about on the show? We got Rob Thomas coming. August 3rd, by the way, to Meisner Park. If you like Rob Thomas and A Great Big World. August 2nd, by the way, going to Jacksonville, Daly's Place. Brian Adams going to the Hard Rock Live November 9th. The Who announced a North American tour. You know, The Who may not go to UK or Europe. The only way they say they may do it is if they have a stay in the O2 Arena or in Royal Albert Hall or whatever. If they can have like a residency, they'll do it. But they said that touring in Europe is like a real pain in the ass, whereas in America, it's a lot easier. So they're doing America, and they're coming here to South Florida at Amarant Bank on Saturday, August 16th. Taylor Dane and Lisa August 2nd in the Broward Center. I'm going to take the wife there. I just saw Peebo Bryson is coming to the Parker, bro. It's interesting. And David Lee Roth. Just give you a heads up again. David Lee Roth cannot sing. That is a total rip-off tour right there is what they should call it. I would only imagine that people that are going to this they never saw the real Van Halen, so they're trying to reminisce with it. Or somebody that did see them but is trying to hang on or something, because I saw him several times, and I have no interest to see David Lee Roth. That is terrible, dude. That is terrible. Brutal. Okay. All right. Let's get to a little music. Since that's what we were talking about there. Don't forget, folks, to please smash the hell out of the like button. Very important that you smash the hell out of the like button. All right, let's go with musicians born on this date. Where are we at here? Okay, now we got it. Oh, Joe Bonamassa, who is coming to town, by the way. The American rock blues guitarist. He's amazing. Born in 1977 on this date. Enrique Iglesias, born in 1975 on this date. David Roundtree, drummer from Blur, born in 1964. Alex Van Halen, speaking of Van Halen, it's his birthday today, born in 1953, the drummer. Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind, is it Earth, Wind and Fire, or is it, no, is it, yeah, it is Earth, Wind and Fire, born in 1951 on this date. Chris Frantz, drummer with the Talking Heads, born in 1951. Bill Legend from T-Rex, drummer, born in 1944. A lot of drummers today. Damn. Let's see who else. Ricky Nelson, born in 1940. Tony Tennille, Captain and Tennille, born in 1940 on this date. The idea, by the way, I saw a story. I didn't know this. Those two were never really in love. They never even slept in the same bed. Everybody thought like they were married and in love and all that. Like, and she like stayed in the relationship for the sake of the duo. But that woman like was like never really satisfied. Kind of rough. All right. Anyway, let's go with other famous people celebrating birthdays today. Oh, comedian Don Rickles, born in 1926. Sonny Liston, born in 1932. Peter Benchley, the writer, Jaws, born in 1940. Gary Glitter, musician, born in 1944. He's 81 today. Let's see who else celebrating. Max Trujillo, the actor, Raul Max Trujillo, born in 1955. He is 70. Bill Cower, born in 1957. He's 68. Melissa Gilbert, actress, born in 64. She's 61. Olivia Culpo, pageantry contestant and actress, born in 92. She's 33. Sean Stanley, do we have wrestlers born on this date?
Yes, we do. Akebono was born on this date, 1969. We lost him in 2024. Akira Tao turned 64. Eli Isom is 30. The great Io Sky turns 35. Actor/wrestler Stephen Amell is 44. If you're an R-Truth fan, Triple H, Tommaso Ciampa turns 40. Truth Martini, he turns 50 on March 8th, 2025.
Amanda, you can buy Caspa. And by the way, thank you for the donation. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very nice of you. You can buy Caspa on Uphold. That's a terrific app. And then make sure you transfer it over to your Tangem wallet. Tangem also will store your Caspa too. And good luck to you. And do your homework, because I am not a financial advisor by any stretch. Let's go to music history. Today on May 8th, in 1993, Aerosmith entered the album charts at number 1 with Get a Grip. The album went to sell over 20 million copies worldwide as a win for the band. As well as a win, the band 2 Grammy Awards. Kind of weird that always sells. As well as win the band 2 Grammy Awards. Yeah, it's not written right. Anyway, in 2001, Sum 41 released her debut studio album, All Killer, No Filler. In 2012, Against Me singer Tom Gable came out as transgender and announced her gender reassignment surgery and her new name, Laura Jane Grace. In 1970, the Beatles' Let It Be album was released. It was the last record of an original studio material put out by the Fab Four, but it was actually recorded before Abbey Road. And that's what happened today in music history. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. All right. Wait a minute. Corso also said, Corso, thank you for the super chat. Says the real question is Pope Leo a Leo. That is a question. We don't know if Pope Leo is a Leo. Inquiring minds want to know if Pope Leo is a Leo. Now, Teron Armstead was on NBC Pro Football Talk or whatever it's called with Florio and Sims, or just Sims, whatever, either. Oh yeah, okay. I don't watch it, so I don't know. Right. Yeah. So Teron was on, and we're going to talk a little bit about they asked him 2 questions. First of all, Teron they asked him to address the Tyreek situation, and obviously trolling and not putting Tua in his top 5, which we all know Tua at the moment is not a top 5 quarterback. So, that's not anything new, but Tyreek's not a smart person. He's a troll. He's an idiot. Instead, if he was actually intelligent, he would go, hey, man, are you guys trying to get me in trouble? Come on, man. Listen, I play with Tua, and my top 5 is Tua. Okay? That's my guy. That's who I'm rolling with. It doesn't really matter who my top 5 is. What's important is that I believe in Tua and move on, and that's it. But instead he does that, and he knows what he's going to do and all that kind of stuff. So he's stupid, but he's not that stupid. He's more of a clown is what he is. Because he is to a level stupid because he really doesn't realize the impact he makes all the time. So here's Teron Armstead answering that question to Sims. The Tyreek one, yes.
That's the thing. And I want you guys to hear me loud and clear.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is extremely intelligent.
Right.
He loves and knows how to get engagement. And he loves to try. He could have, I promise to you guys.
Yeah.
Him and Tua might have been sitting next to each other.
Right.
While he's saying his top 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks.
Right.
Like Reek maybe never even seen Baker Mayfield play. he's a smart
He just
guy.
knew that'll do that. Right. Okay.
Let's how, you know what? I'm bored. Let me get him going.
Okay. Teron Armstead is a great player and an incredible human being. He is not going to be taking shots at anybody. And all that is a veteran player who is still somewhat tied to the team, doesn't want to be a dick. What about Tyreek is extremely intelligent? Sending out a divorce when there wasn't any divorce? I don't know, speeding, going to a game, not running the right routes. I mean, there's a lot of stupid shit he does. He's smart enough to know what he's trolling about, but let's not make it sound like he's intelligent. And let's not make it sound like he's doing this with Tua in front of him and all that kind of stuff. But this is a veteran player that is never, ever going to say anything controversial. That's all it is. I can't say anything bad about the human being and the player that is Teron Armstead. There's one bad thing you can say about him. It's not bad. It's just the durability issue. By the way, Bitcoin's at 103,756. Okay? All right? That's crazy. All right? Maybe we do get to a God candle. It's 107. We're just only 3,400 away. So this is a guy that is not going to create any problems. Do you want another example of it? Okay. And it's, I'm sorry. I hate to say that. I know he's a great guy and he's a classy guy and all of that, but he's full of shit. And I can say it because I don't give a fuck. Okay? That's all. I don't give a fuck. And then the next question that they ask him about being soft. The team being soft. Go ahead, Teron Armstead. Answer the question.
It's no word. The toughness thing is crazy. I had never had any association with lack of toughness.
Yeah.
So that I kind of like was numb to. I didn't even hear that. Like that ain't
right.
That's not even a part of nothing. We are a tough team. We have been a tough team. We've seen come down in training camp joint.
Well, Teron, you lack zero weakness. You are all about tough. So is Zach Sealer. So is Tim Bowens. You think I'm going to call Zach Thomas soft or Jason Taylor soft? But their teams were soft. And Teron Armstead, your team was soft. You folded constantly. You couldn't beat Buffalo mostly. You can't beat playoff teams. You can't win in the playoffs. So, yeah, you're soft. They punch you in the mouth and you fold like a cheap tent. And that's been going on for 40 years. What do you think the Dolphins did against the Patriots when they had to try to make it back to the Super Bowl to take on the Bears since they were the only ones that defeated the Bears? Soft. Fumble away the game, big moment, you choke. You show up against San Francisco, soft. Early 90s against the Bills, you get your ass kicked constantly, soft. The Fiedler teams, they had a bunch of tough guys on it. Overall, a soft team. They folded every time there was a big moment. Rarely won playoff games. Jimmy Johnson, every time he went to the playoffs, got his ass kicked. His teams were soft. And he had some tough guys on it, but your team overall was soft. Your team choked. And that's what's been going on this year, last year, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Nothing's changed. So you win a couple games, Chad Pennington plays smart football, and then you play Baltimore. And what happened? Was it 20-3, I believe, the score? You got your ass kicked. You're soft because Baltimore is tough, and you're not. So, again, Teron Armstead is never going to say anything controversial. So if, I don't know if how writers have approached this locally or whatever, if they want to go at it or whatever, but maybe they don't want to piss off his agent. They don't want to piss off Teron Armstead. They don't want to piss off the team or whatever, and they don't want to say the truth like I did. Teron Armstead is never going to say anything controversial. He's a nice guy. He's a great player. He's a badass. He plays with more injuries than I've ever seen almost any player and plays well with them. I mean, I got immense respect for him as a player. I wish we had 53 Teron Armsteads that can stay healthy. Remember that caveat I threw in there. 53 Armsteads that can stay healthy. I know who you are, but I also know who that team is. And it is soft as it gets. Okay? And that's been the whole thing for 40-ass years. This team has never had any balls, never had any guts, never had any toughness. And they have folded in practically every big moment because they're emotionally, physically soft. Marino teams were as soft as it gets. You couldn't run the ball and punch people in the mouth. You didn't have a defense that could shut people down. Soft-ass finesse team. So Teron Armstead may not say it. Maybe most people in town won't write it or talk about it, but this has been a wussy-ass team for 40 years. They've never been a team that can stand up for themselves and punch somebody in the mouth and crush them. They did that in the 70s. Sorry to be honest, Teron Armstead, but you're full of shit. But I understand. You're too classy to actually be honest. I get that, my brother. I don't have to be that. I got to just be brutally honest. The Dolphins are a bunch of wussies and have been wussies forever. Until proven otherwise, they are as soft as silly putty. Okay? Just a bunch of flakes. That's what they've been, and they've been forever. From the moment that Theismann is stripping Bocamper of the football. Soft moments are filled all over. Fumbling left and right against New England. Soft-ass moments all over the damn place. You find a way to choke away the game. Doesn't matter if you can punch somebody in the mouth once in a while. Doesn't matter if you have Tim Bowens on your team. What happened when push came to shove? You got shoved. Just because Tim Bowens wasn't getting shoved, the rest of the team got shoved. So I respect Teron Armstead, the player. I appreciate everything he did here, but don't feed me bullshit, bro. We're not having it on this show. Okay? Until otherwise, the Dolphins are a soft-ass, embarrassing franchise, and they've been like that for 4 decades from Shula till now. Okay? That's the way it goes. We thank Steve Calabro. We thank Chris Perkins. We thank most of all that man, Sean Stanley, for driving this program. And, of course, Mr. Brunetti and the Brunetti family. Without them, nothing happens, and we thank them for that. We thank those of you out there that hit the like button, made a donation to the show, visit our sponsors. Appreciate that immensely. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Acura, right? Live from Acura of Pembroke Pines. Be good out there.
This is the Big O Show.